Greetings, and welcome to the Guild of Mazes presents So You Think You Can Quest, an online, live-streamed Dungeons & Dragons-based game show with real cash prizes and precious stones that helps raise money for rotating community charities. I'm your host and Dungeon Master, and this is just a quick introduction to episode 16 of our open beta development process. Join us in this episode as our contestants fight off some black pudding that they had run afoul of last session and make some important and epic discoveries after a breakneck pace in which there is a constant threat to player life. I won't spoil what happens in this episode, but you'll have to stay tuned to see who lives and who dies and who wins a precious stone at the end of the evening. There are some close calls and some epic 20s this evening, so stay tuned for this episode of the Guild of Mazes presents So You Think You Can Quest.
Bring on your goblin holes and band of oaks, hulking zombies and kabobs. And oh no, no troll, don't slow me down, oh no. Don't be delicious, ever vicious, all so many possibilities. When I swing, I'm a class will be the thing. Go again and again, every time my friend, the outcome's always the same. I'll roll down 20 sides and cleave your ass in twain, because I'm rolling 20s like a 68 Impala. AC doesn't matter, critical damage from my warhammer. I throw the big two against every single farm that draws motherfuckers my mighty blow. I lay 'em low.
And we are live once more on this Tuesday evening. Welcome back to So You Think You Can Quest, the online, live-streamed Dungeons & Dragons-based game show with real cash prizes and precious stones. I'm your host and Dungeon Master. And this evening, we will be joined by a new contestant and our 4 returning main players from last game as they find themselves at the bottom of a cavern in the center of town beneath both the sewers and a couple layers of substructure, where it seems that the disturbances as well as the above-ground mixture of various like fallings and leavings of substructure falling away into this cavern have attracted black puddings that are now attempting to consume our players as their next meal. But before we get to that, I'd just like to say a quick thank you to all the fans and contestants and patrons, and a welcome to anybody who might be joining us right now for the first time. This format is unique and takes place in a custom game world of my own design, as our contestants compete to help raise money for rotating community charities, as well as earn cash prizes for themselves. And at the end of this night, there will be a precious stone awarded to one of the contestants who manages to make it through, or even sometimes those who die if it happens in a particularly fantastic way. The chat will pick them as the favorite for the evening. But there is currently a dog tag of lapis lazuli or a fluorescent euperlite, which is a stone composite of cyanite and fluorescent sodalite that glows in the dark, and both are available to be won by one of our contestants. And it's also important to say that we are now, with this episode, going to be putting a wrap on the second 30 days of production for this channel, which means that we will be donating, once again, 100% of everything that we've taken in from our Patreon accounts, or any profit from the Twitch channel, as well as any random donations that may have come our way, and we will be donating that to Extra Life, an organization who helps raise money for the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. After this period expires, after this episode, we will be transitioning into not doing 100% of our proceeds to charity, but a 15% static slice of everything, while we then focus another 15% slice of everything we bring in into now starting to escalate the prize pools. So as every session ticks by, our players will not be competing for the same amount of money. It will be growing, hopefully, by the hour, if by just pennies, depending on what we are managing to take in here. And that will certainly add an extra element of pressure and, I'm sure, interest to the game as things begin to spiral upwards. Now, for those of you, and I see one of you in the chat here is just joining us, we are going to be getting going here with this quest. Currently, our players are trying to find and enter the dungeon that lurks underneath the town of Hope's Rise on behalf of a mysterious, perhaps almost interdimensional guild known as the Guild of Mazes, who are currently sending out operatives and agents into this region trying to find what they believe to be the discovery of a lifetime. As the Guild of Mazes is the world of Eidolon's foremost discoverers of, and then sort of looters of any sort of like a subterranean fortress or otherwise above ground lair of evildoers, that sort of thing. And as they pillage through various crypts and labyrinths, that is how they fund the workings of their expansive, illustrious, and somewhat infamous organization. Last session, leading up to this confrontation with the Black Puddings in the cavern system below the center of town, they actually encountered some nemesises of theirs in the form of representatives of the Society of Weights and Measures, a seemingly high-strung bunch who, while having access to great personal ability, had been somewhat frustrated by the group's ability to easily thwart their fortifications and the mercenaries that they had hired to protect the very dungeon entrance that the group had at the time set their eyes on. Understanding that this mage would probably obliterate them with the help of their of her invisible assassin-like companion, who was also a devious engineer of traps, the party begged for their life, effectively assuring mutual destruction on at least one of these siblings, who cared enough about each other to perhaps let sleeping dogs lie for the moment. After emerging from the sewers and discussing with the guards to find out that the Society of Weights and Measures was in fact a rather well-known group throughout the continent of Nemothera, at very least, for their ability to fortify and secure almost any area against ingress. It seems that the Guild of Mazes is at odds with them because of the fact that their very profession relies on their ability to defeat even the Society's most cunning of traps. What will play out in this rivalry as time goes on, we are unsure, but for the immediate future, the group decided it was perhaps best to change tact and dive down into that cavern system that had been opened some sessions ago by the event where some solar ray crashed into the center of town and obliterated layers of rock and stone. And then in that very catastrophic event, a golem formed out of the energy and did battle with some sort of extra-dimensional creature that was trying to force its way into this world, perhaps. Now knowing that it seems the mage that threatened them in the sewers and is a member of this opposing organization is also perhaps responsible for that golem and likely knows more about this energy creature and the dungeon underneath the town than is letting on or perhaps is broadcasting to the townsfolk, the guild is sure that they will be seeing more of this brother and sister duo in the future. But for now, it looks like they would prefer the company of the these black puddings that have been feasting on the foul sewage that is running openly into this sub-cavern. And without a further ado, we are going to be rejoining our players. We did have a last-minute attendance issue, so I am going to have to cycle around a couple of the tokens and the name tags really quick at the beginning while we roll initiative and get everybody set up to do this combat, but that should take no more than just a couple of minutes. And while we're doing that, of course, we can let the players discuss exactly how they want to handle this situation. So, without further ado, welcome to this episode of the Guild of Mazes presents So You Think You Can Quest. All right, everyone, we're about to go live. I'm transitioning over, and welcome. Rucifer, it's nice to see you. Glad to get you in the game. I'm going to have to switch around the interface for a second while I get everybody properly labeled, but in the meantime I'm going to move the map over so that we can get our players on the battle map of the cavern system that is below the town. And one moment please, I'll just get you centered. And I'll zoom the stream in so everyone can see what's going on here. We find our party knee-deep in the rubble of several layers of forgotten substructure of the town of Hope's Rise, an open sewer pipe, and also now the rumblings of this vile jelly-like creature that is raising itself off of the stone floor after having spread itself so thin that the party was able to mistake it for nothing more than a layer of dirt and grime that had accumulated in this area. Okay, alright, I'm gonna mess around with the name tags and everything, but everyone, welcome to the stream. You are on both live on mic and video at this time, so please feel free to click on your character tokens and roll for initiative. I'm gonna get the turn tracker set up here and get the pudding going while I get rid of the old 5th player from last session, who was one Yane Gorebrook, who at this time the party sees disassemble into 1,000 swirling particles of infinite color that then snaps and is going to phase in one. Where are they? Lupe Gildentoe, the bard that will be our 5th player this evening and being played by Rucifer. And Lupe, you warp in as the doors of the gathering hall of the Guild of Mazes open to reveal the kind of much lauded but also much feared crackling teleportation system, and you are pushed through to have yourself disassembled into an unconscious state that is at tune with the universe, and then snap to suddenly in a morbidly dank cave that is filled with foul stenches and the scuttle and cry of what is surely a melee of some kind. Luckily, you are an operative of the Guild of Mazes and prepared for just such situations, and you are able to quickly snap into movement and join the rest of your companions. Make sure to... Okay, 1, 2, 3... don't forget to roll an initiative, Lupe. And also click on your character token before you do so. That way it'll go directly into the turn tracker. Zaris, I see you got... Nice. Natural 20. And I'm deleting your old token from the tracker. All right, everyone. It looks like Zaris is going to be going first.
At the very end of last session, I had to cast Flaming Sphere right on top of it. So I start with that.
Okay.
And then back up.
Got it.
Just having some difficulties. How do I click on my token?
you should be able to just click on it directly and move it. Let me double check if you have control over that, but it looks like you do. Also, I just realized I'm going to have to turn your mic up there. Whoop, there we go. And I will also start some ambient cavern music while this is going. It looks like everyone's name is... Okay, no, Jassir and Detlin are mixed up, but that is easy to fix.
Over right there.
There we go. All right, now everyone's name tags are where they should be. Everyone's synced up with their characters. Oh, hold on. I know what's going on here. Rue,
What's up?
let me double check your character. Yeah, no, you should be able to click on that and move it. It's on the right plane. I thought it might have been on the map tile there.
Be sure that your icon is selected to move it.
Yeah, when you click on it, it should highlight, and you should get like a box around it with some options.
Do I find that in the character sheet?
No, like on the map. I'm talking about like right.
Question then, how do I remove everybody's
Pictures?
icon on Roll20? Yeah, picture.
Oh, you can do that in the game settings. You click on the gear off to the right, but you can also, really quick, if you have any questions about the interface, it's very easy to just kind of Google that stuff. Let me get that pudding added to the turn order. It only got a measly 13, so it is definitely not going first. Zaris, I'm going to get a flaming sphere token down for you. And in addition to your flaming sphere, what else would you like to do, as you still have your bonus action and your movement available to you, being the first into this combat?
Yeah. I'm moving back to where I am there. I was one of the first things to poke at that. So
Okay.
I've cast the sphere and moved backwards.
Got it. There we go. Flaming sphere. I'm going to put that token under your control. Go ahead and roll damage for that thing, as if you're summoning that basically on its square, then it has to make a dexterity saving throw.
Let me throw that in the chat for people too.
Yeah, go ahead and roll damage. There we go. That's 5. It
Figured
does
it out.
manage to make the dex save, so it is going to be able to mitigate some of that fire damage. And you see as the fire makes contact with the surface of the pudding's skin, it begins to ignite and superheat, and the surface of it almost spreads in flame as if coated in some sort of accelerant, as the entire thing now lights up, and you can see it become ensconced in this halo of fire thanks to your flaming sphere. Oh, it looks like... Oh, Lupe
Nice.
should have actually gone first. I didn't...
That's fine.
Yeah,
I was still having to figure out how things worked.
Yeah, it'll be all right. And one moment. I don't think it's going to have a substantial impact on combat. Rue, is there any way you can turn your mic up a little bit?
Remind me how you do that.
Oh, you should be able to... Your Discord volume... You just go into the settings of your Discord.
Just put the mic a little closer.
Yeah, also that. I can hear you, but I just want to make sure that everybody on the stream can. But, Lupe, what are you going to do for your turn?
What's this?
Hello?
Testing.
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, that's better.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. What would you like to do for your turn? Lupe?
1 second. Who's the closest to the blob?
That, in this case, would be your companion here, Detlin.
Alright, I will give Detlin a Bard of Inspiration, and I will... move over... there.
Okay. Is that everything for your turn?
For the time being, because I'm having a little trouble figuring everything out. Just to get everything flowing.
All right. Then from there, Lupe, Zaris, you already went, and I don't know how... Oh, this never got sorted. That's why. I was like, Detlin, how did you get to the top of the 5? So we... Oh my god, I don't know why the music is so loud tonight. I have it on a very low setting. It's just going roller coaster style. Ash, Gara Hest, you are next up with a 17 initiative. The Black Pudding Royals in front of your companion, in response to having be set on fire. It seems to be like almost bubbling underneath the surface. What do you want to do?
So does it look like this thing is enjoying this fire, or does it look like it's not enjoying this fire?
That would be an insight check or a knowledge nature, depending on how you want to approach that situation. You're welcome to make either. It will cost you a bonus action, of course. All right, with that 16 insight, it seems as if the creature is not enjoying it, but judging by the way that the interior of it is reacting, you think that there is something yet to come, as it seems to almost be reacting to this fire chemically.
Great. Okay, so I am going to feed it a little more fire to this.
Okay, you got it.
Happens. I'm going to send it a firebolt, and with advantage because it hasn't taken a turn yet. And then I'm going to run away a little.
Okay, you got it. All right, Ash, if that's your turn after that 8 misses, unfortunately, because the creatures just billowing smoke and fire make it difficult for you to take aim in this dark environment while your eyes are kind of shifting between one mode of sight and the other. You do manage to miss the thing while it is still surprisingly mobile.
But I should have advantage, so I'm going to roll again because it hasn't taken a turn.
In this case, yes, you do have advantage.
So let's try that again. Great. Okay, so then I'm just going to run away. I'll move my token.
All right. You token noted, and from there, Ash, if that's your turn, it's going to go to the pudding. The pudding is going to now, having been set aflame by this sphere and not seemingly enjoying it one bit, is going to now, squeeze itself ever so slightly between the edge of this cliff to its right and the space that the sphere occupies, and begin moving forward. Let me take a check right here of the movement. And it seems... Okay, it is going to be able to get up to the party, and within the same turn, it is not going to be able to attack as its movement is not that great, but it is going to be able to, with the proximity of it, cause quite a bit of discomfort for the party as you begin to realize that the fumes that this creature is letting off, having been set on fire, are literally toxic. Whatever is burning off from this creature, underneath this creature's membranous skin, is some sort of foul venom once released into the air. Go ahead, it's going to be Jasir and Zaris because of the proximity there. Give me a Constitution saving throw. That is going to be definitely enough to see you through, as a critical is as good as gold, and with a 19 Constitution saving throw, that is also going to protect Jasir from the noxious cloud that is billowing out from underneath the pudding's skin. But at the same time, you are all going to be aware of the fact that it looks like another one of these puddings on the low ground has managed to pull itself out of the slime and muck and is now also creeping up the cavern wall towards the party's position. Though it is slow going for this creature, it is capable of, much like a living tide of water, just creeping ever so slowly up the nooks and crannies of this rock. So it's going to get to the point that it is coming over the ledge, but it is not going to actually be able to advance on the group, and you will not be... I need to re-expand this thing. And it is, you are not going to be threatened by it this turn. And at the same time, you are also going to see to the north, it looks like a couple more of these things have been awoken from their passive scouring of this cavern floor and are going to begin making their way towards the group.
Uh-oh.
One moment. So I just transition that over. I'll back up so the stream can kind of see exactly what I'm talking about now, as it seems like not one or two or three, but four of these puddings are beginning to emerge from the cavern floor. What was otherwise innocuous filth has turned out to be a living manifestation of basically the terrible rot that is capable of sustaining itself down here. After all of those puddings are in on their companion's initiative, that is going to then go to Jasir. Jasir, you are up. You are currently threatened by the pudding, and there is another one not but about 5 to 8 feet south of you. What do you want to do at this time?
Okay. I'm going to take the disengage action. And I'm going to move through them to here.
Got it.
And then, let's see. I'll cast Spiritual Weapon.
Okay. I'm gonna get you a weapon token really fast. While I'm doing that, I see you made the 12. That is attacking which one of these puddings at this time?
The one on my left, I guess. The first one that we saw.
Got it. Attacking the first pudding that you see that 12 is going to be enough to hit it, as it seems that these things do not have very much when it comes to AC, what with them being a fairly large, kind of like generally slow moving blob. Alright. Make that hammer a little larger, and I'm gonna pass that over to control for you really quick so you can... Okay, from there, with that damage of 11, sorry folks, just getting everybody set up in this combat really quick, you are going to do a resounding blow to this flaming ooze as it begins to splatter some of the flaming exterior of this thing around. Zaris, you are going to take what is just a single point of damage for being kind of in the immediate proximity of this thing as it's being struck, and what are these like almost flaming tar like bits are coming off of it, and it's pretty hard to avoid the spray of what happens when the impact strikes this creature. But the 11 damage does seem to resound as it is beginning to lose more and more of its own like membranous stability, and the creature is leaking out more of its foul internal life fluid across the stones. Jasir, you've moved, you've disengaged, and you've used your spiritual weapon, so that's going to pass it over to Detlin. Detlin, you are up.
I'd like to use a nature examination on
for
this.
that damage, right?
Pardon?
Concentration. I need to make a
Yes.
concentration check, yeah. Okay.
Okay, that is going to be enough, given the fact that you only took a single point of damage in that case. Detlin, what are you doing? Knowledge, nature, critical failure. What were you wondering?
Trying to figure out what these things are. Apparently, he's never seen them before in his life, even if he has.
Likely they seem to be ancestral ghosts of the very like stone and rock itself, having been defiled by the civilization above. It seems to be rising up and finally claiming back that which is its own. You fear that perhaps it will be impossible to defeat the entire will of the very land upon which you sit.
In that case, he's just going to back up and go, okay, guys, over here. Move.
Okay. You got it. Detlin, after you have backed up and joined your companion Jasir, where the battlefield is perhaps a little bit more open and there's more distance between you and the oozes, what do you want to, or puddings as it were, what do you want to do?
Fire a crossbow bolt at him, so
Okay.
I will hold my attack action
I'm getting
For
some
my-
feedback
to get
from
out
you.
of the way.
You're holding your attack action, and then I couldn't quite hear the last bit of what you were saying there. There was, I think a bit of static.
Gets out of the way. Yeah. As soon as Zaris gets out of the way, I'll release the quiver. Or the
Okay,
bolt.
got it. I was able to hear you there. With that, it's going to then move over to the top of the order with one Lupe Gildentoe. Lupe, you are up. It is your turn. What would you like to do?
got a curious question about my Zodiac.
What's up?
Is that as a bonus action or is that an action?
It is, if it's something that you would trigger in terms of like, it depends on what the Zodiac is, but usually a bonus action, unless otherwise stated.
Would that
Yeah,
be counted
in that
as
case, in the case of the talkative beholder, that is a full action. You will also need to roll to see which one of those things you are capable of casting for the day. So go ahead and give me a D10 for that when you feel like it. So it looks like the cantrip you will be able to cast is Shocking Grasp, which does take a full action. Because some of those cantrips are bonus actions, but Shocking Grasp is a full action.
Okay. With that, I will most likely get closer to my companion of Detlin and hopefully squeeze through them. As a halfling, I do have advantage going through larger creatures than me, or no?
You would in the if it weren't for the fact that these creatures are like oozes, but there is still plenty enough room for you to move through. It's just a matter of whether or not you are going to take an attack of opportunity for it happening.
Alright, then let's attempt this.
Okay. So are you disengaging or are you just moving?
I'm not in range with them just yet, am I?
No, but if you pass through, you will be entering into range of both of them because that gap right there is only 5 feet wide.
Yeah, I'll disengage then.
Okay, so that will be as a bard. That will be your action then, I believe. Okay. So that's movement. You've disengaged. Anything else for your turn? As you slip by and watch as the oozes or puddings slowly begin to creep closer and closer towards you and your companions.
No, I'll just try to get as far as I can away from them and yell out, "Hey, old dude! Come over here! They're about to eat you."
Hollering a bit of advice to his companion and hoping that he might make it through, we are then passing over to one Zaris Lokudora. Zaris, what are you doing as these puddings attempt to eat you? One of them literally on fire.
Yes, I'm going to disengage as well, run up to the northwest, and use my bonus action to direct my flaming sphere to the one that just approached me and get some more damage on that.
Okay, you got it. That is going to not be enough to hit, unfortunately, Detlin. And then with that flaming sphere, go ahead and roll your damage on it as you bump it into the pudding, and I'm going to roll for its saving throw.
Oh, sorry. Don't need to roll it again.
That's fine. So it fails its save, and so that is going to take the full 5 damage, plus what seems to be likely a little bit more, judging by the fact that this fire seems to be burning with more and more intensity the longer this creature stays ablaze.
It looked like the fire from the first casting was dissipating by now.
No, it looks like this thing is going to just be on fire until it's dead.
Okay.
Unless it finds a way to put itself out somehow. But it, having not had a chance to really go, since it's been, bludgeoned several times and originally set ablaze, it likely, if it's going to do that, is going to have to accomplish it soon. Otherwise, the thing looks like it's ready to just boil over.
It's methane coming off of it.
Okay, Zaris, if that's your turn, we then go to Ash. Ash, you are up.
Okay, so I have a question right here. Is that a ledge? Is it two different elevations in between there?
Yes, that area right here that you're looking at is. Oh, sorry. This is a ledge that goes up. It's about 10 feet here, and then it kind of goes down to about 5 feet right about here, as there's a little bit of rubble, but it's just so covered in the sewage from up above that getting up this rock face would just be exceedingly difficult because of how slick it is. And then over here where this pudding is, it's still only about a 5-foot incline or ledge up above, so it's just above like chest height. Whereas right here, you'd actually have to like jump up and grab a hold and pull yourself up.
Okay, so just southwest of there, is that a boulder? Is that also about 10 feet high boulder?
Southwest of here, this boulder? Is that what you're looking at?
Yes, that boulder.
Yeah, that boulder is about 10 feet tall on either side, and then it peaks at about 15 feet tall at its center.
How tall are these puddings?
These puddings seem to be about, they're traveling at kind of about a 5-foot, 6-foot height raised off the ground. But as you've seen already with the ones that are descending from the north and the ones that are coming up from the south, they seem to be capable of moving across almost any terrain or incline based on the fact that they can just spread themselves out so thin.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast Mage's Armor on myself, and then I'm going to stealthily run down that ravine, down that crevice underneath the 10-foot crag there, and try to hide behind that boulder.
Okay. Got it. Go ahead and move your token and give me that stealth check. $16. All right. Ash, you are going to manage to slip into the crevice between the wall and the boulder there, which is going to provide you some cover. You feel fairly certain that you've managed to slip out of sight, but when fighting a creature that has no eyes, it's always difficult to tell.
Okay, I think that is my turn then.
All right. Ash, from there we go to the puddings. The puddings now begin to creep yet closer still to the party. I will grab a hold of them and take a quick movement. That's 1, 2, 3. Okay. Zaris, you are going to find yourself once more threatened from the north by one of these puddings. It is not going to be able to reach you and deal damage in the same turn, but because of that, it is going to continue to use its remaining movement to sort of cycle around and get to about here, so that it's basically like pushing you off the ledge specifically and leaving you very little room to navigate. Now, that is going to then go to this one, which is... Okay, it's going to be able to join its companion in combat at this point, but it will only be able to reach right about here, and it's going to back off because of the flaming sphere. Meanwhile, this pudding, which is on fire, is going to squeeze itself through the space that this sphere is in, move past, get to here, and then attempt to attack one Lupe Gildentoe while it is still... Oh, and that is not going to go well. The ooze, or pudding, I don't know why I keep saying that, it raises itself up and contorts some of its body mass into an appendage to try and slam Lupe, but it ends up just connecting with the ground as the nimble halfling dances to one side. That is not going to be the end of the halfling's challenges, though, as he is still closest to the other pudding that has just crested the cliff, as it begins to also press the halfling from its other flank. And that attack is also going to miss, too, it looks like, as the ooze is not capable of grabbing a hold of Lupe. However, he will now be threatened from both sides. One of these puddings on fire, and one of these puddings fresh to the fight. All of these puddings having moved, most of them still trying to get to the combat. That is going to be the end of that turn, and we go now to Jasir. Jasir, just south of our companion Lupe, what would you like to do?
Alright. I'm gonna use my bonus action to move my spiritual weapon, and I'll make attack on the one I've been attacking.
Okay. Go ahead and give me that roll. That is going to be a 12, which is yet just enough to hit, fortunately for you. Alright, I think I've got this music situation figured out. I don't know why it was spiking and dropping so loud earlier. This should be a little bit more mellow for the background, but we will see. 11 damage again against this pudding. A resounding blow which sends more of the flaming bits flying everywhere. Lupe, you are going to take another, it looks to be only 2 damage from this one, as the small bits of tar-like substance spatter you on one side. And then I will also actually need a Constitution saving throw from you, Lupe, as that flaming ooze did move into your proximity, and I didn't ask for that on its turn. Jasir, you've hit with your spiritual weapon. You still have action economy available. Is there anything else you'd like to do?
Yeah, I'm gonna move, use my movement.
What kind of save was that?
Constitution saving throw, please. You can just click on the part in your character sheet and it'll roll it. Awesome. And that will be enough to make sure you are insulated from the foul effects of this creature's stench being lit ablaze and then smoking into the air around you. From there...
I'm gonna use Toll the Dead.
Okay.
On that same one.
Got it. And as you move, I'm also going to now pull back and reveal some more of the terrain, as the Dragonborn is going to be able to see into this darkness fairly effectively, thanks to the torches that were created via Zarus' light spell earlier. That is going to cast some more kind of clarity on your situation there, Jasir. And I'm going to pull the stream back a little bit so everyone can kind of see the available battlefield for what the party has exposed and what they know to be a very large cavern of some kind. So, Toll the Dead at DC 13. They are going to make that save, and it seems like be able to otherwise resist the worst effects of that.
And that's it.
Okay, Jasir, then we're going to Detlin. Detlin at the bottom of the order. Last but not least, our Dragonborn tank. How do you want to finish this off?
Gonna send another quarrel at him and see what it does. And then
Okay.
just step back.
All right, with a twang of your crossbow, that is going to drive into the creature. This does not have the same splattering effect as the melee attack from the spiritual weapon, much to Lupe's thanks, as the bolt just slides cleanly into the pudding. The 8 damage is enough with the previous that you see as this creature is now having lost a substantial amount of its life fluid, struggling to keep itself organized. You can see that it's whatever is processing its mind internally seems to be in a state of deep chaos. If it had a mouth, it would scream, but it cannot, and so it must only endure its death in silence. But is still alive. Don't let that description fool you. Detlin, I've seen you move. I've seen you shoot. Is there anything with your bonus action you'd like to do?
Not at this time.
Okay. Then from there, it is going to go on to the top of the order with Lupe. And at this moment, I'm going to ask, what is everyone's passive perception?
15.
12.
All right. Then, Jasir, from where you are, with that 15, you are going to hear coming in the distance what sounds like some sort of echoing noise originating from far in the northeastern direction of your current position, up past where the oozes descended that ledge, and you see those sort of that natural staircase that's kind of just folded into the rock. In this direction, as you I'm just panning up for the stream's sake, you see that there seems to be some sort of noise or din coming from this direction. It sounds very, very far off, and at the at the distance you are, you're not sure if it's the movement of creatures, or perhaps it almost sounds like maybe the movement of stones and rocks falling, which is not necessarily unusual for this area, but there is some kind of clatter coming from that direction. What with no one else also having that, Jasir, you're going to be the only one to notice. But not to take away from your turn, Lupe, what would you like to do? You are in the center of a pudding sandwich, and it is not the delicious kind.
Can I see if there's any metal underneath any one of these?
Go ahead and give me a perception check, as they are sitting atop a fair amount of scattered debris and rubble from the above, which does include a fair amount of, like, not sophisticated, but certainly like rebar and metal brackets and things that were used to reinforce the sewer structures, like grates and other iron bars. 20 perception. All right, you are going to notice that it seems like this cross section, let me make sure I've got the right tool, of the, like, these cross beams right here seem to be fitted with these, like, large steel bolts every foot or so. So it looks like there are probably a couple, like, large metal bolts underneath this pudding, like, probably, like, right about here. It's not like a huge piece of metal, but it's certainly enough that, you know, it's the size of a couple of your fists, what with you being a halfling.
Alright, with that, let me act out how they decided to just surround me. Oh, you're gonna have to try better than that, lads! Oh, wait. Oh, God, you smell, and the dizziness. Oh, it's a little too much. Oh, let me heat you up a little bit. And with that, I will cast heat metal underneath the first pudding.
Okay.
To my right.
Casting heat metal there. I'm gonna put a dot down on the map just so that I don't forget where it is. I think appropriately this will do. And that heat metal is going to go into effect. Anything else for your turn?
No, that's it. That's a wrong spell.
Okay. Go ahead and roll the damage. And I'm going to That'll be 2d8s for your heat metal. Okay. Thank you very much.
I think I did that right.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going
And
to take
with
7
that-
damage. That is not going to be enough to set the creature on fire like the damage from the flaming sphere, as it's going to instead just cause this like almost singular bubble to form within the base of the creature and then rise up and kind of pop, and letting go like this foul burp of its inner fluids and stench. But you are going to, having already made the Constitution saving throw for that, be immune to the pudding's sort of kind of like natural toxin. Lupe, that is your action. Anything else for? Are you getting out of there? Are you moving?
Yeah, I am. How exactly do I measure the spaces?
The measurement tool is called Snap to Center. If you look over at your tool set over on the left-hand side of the screen, it's the upside-down Q. And then you can just point and drag. And if you like, you can also then, if you right-click while you're doing it, you can set points to make corners and take more elaborate measurements.
Alright, cool. Then I will move right over there.
All right, the puddings are going to use their reactions to attempt to take attacks of opportunity. One of them is going to miss, representing quite a bit of luck for Lupe, as it is now missed, or he has now been missed by 3 of these pudding slams. But the last one, the second one rather, is going to crit, bringing a end to Lupe's luck. Absorbing a critical pudding slam, which is not as delicious as it sounds. That is going to be a total of 9 plus and then the strength mod. So, Lupe, you are going to get rocked by a critical pudding slam that is going to do a total of 23 damage to you. And I am also going to need you to make a opposed acrobatics check to not accidentally get stuck in this pudding as it hits you while you try to squeak on by.
What kind of save?
Acrobatics check. Because this is it's like a grapple. It's not a... Okay, excellent. You are definitely able to nimbly avoid getting caught by this creature and pulled into its mass or otherwise like mired by it. But at the same time, that it's funny that you rolled exactly the same amount of damage that it did with your acrobatics check. So I'm sure Lupe is feeling that. But from there, we go to Zaris Locudora. Zaris, up on top of that little ledge not far north, you are seeing all of this plays out as your companion darts between these puddings trying to avoid the worst of the damage. What would you like to do?
Just a heads up, guys. Not looking that great. 6 health.
Zaris?
Engage, hop down, and then I'm gonna move my flaming sphere and ram it into the pudding, not ooze. That did not quite catch fire, but hopefully will right now.
All right. That is going to be enough for the ooze to make its saving throw, but it is going to still ignite the creature, as the flaming sphere is going to be enough to trigger the same reaction as it now bursts into the same like perfect bit of flame that like licks at the top of its membrane, as if this thing was like a giant lump of moving coal. Now, ensconced in flame like its other companion, it is going to certainly cast a bit more light on the situation. And I'm going to to reveal a bit more of that area below, as you can kind of more clearly see the like runoff that it climbed up and out of, and that it looks like this cavern continues to extend to the east there in some direction. Now, having hit the creature with your flaming sphere as your bonus action, what would you like to do with your action or your movement, Zaras? Oh, I see you moved.
My action, yeah, my action was to disengage from that one up top.
Oh, okay, got it. I'm sorry if I didn't hear that earlier. Okay.
No, yeah, I was cutting out.
Go ahead. If you're going to be making your way down that ledge, I'm going to ask for an acrobatics or an athletics check as you attempt to make your way down.
Okay. Acrobatics is the tiniest bit better for me. But not good.
Okay, not good at all. That is a critical failure, and for those of you who don't know, that means I will be rolling on a custom chart to determine the variance of the severity of this particular effect, and it looks like our companion is going to trip and fall quite mightily. I am going to need a dexterity saving throw from you in order to avoid landing and doing grievous harm to yourself as you trip and go face first over this ledge.
To myself and Ash.
Go ahead and let's see what that looks like.
Come on, Dex. That's
9, Zaris, that is not
one.
a good look. Instead of being able to catch yourself and reduce the amount of damage that might be done, you are going to trip, fall, and take a total of 7 damage as you land on your collarbone and kind of tweak your neck up as you manage to kind of roll to one side, but for the most part, all but just belly slam into the rock below.
Yikes.
Okay, that's your movement, your action, and your bonus. Still, that is going to then put us on to Ash. Ash, you are up.
So I'm underneath this ledge. This thing is right above me, and I'm hiding. And he's making a bunch of noise down there. I'm hoping to surprise this creature by springing up and blasting it with a firebolt.
That is
And then-
possible. I'm going, unfortunately, because the ledge is like 10 feet, you currently don't really have the best line of sight on it. So you'll either have to get up on top of that rock a little bit or like pull yourself up onto the ledge before you firebolt it. And so either way, I'll be looking for an acrobatics or an athletics in order to do that.
Parkour!
Yeah, that good old parkour magic. All right, that isn't going to hurt you in any way, but it is going to mean that like your attempt to try and get up and quickly like make a window to hit this thing is just not going to be long enough for you to also cast Firebolt as you kind of spring up and try and get your cantrip ready, and at the same time it just doesn't like it doesn't take in the same motion because you're trying to also watch and catch yourself and pull yourself up on the rock. So that basically just means that you can either
so can I use?
Yeah.
So I can get up on the rock, but I can't get up on the rock and blast him.
Is more or less it. Like what I'm saying is that you're either gonna have to spend another action to attempt to climb, or you'll have to like move and shoot something else that's currently on eye level with you.
Okay, that makes sense. Then, in that case, once I have jumped up on this rock, I'm going to jump off the rock, and I'm going to sprint back down to right about here. Let me measure it. Yeah, anyway, so right down there. And okay, so now I can cast a fireball, or no, because I can't at this point.
At this point, you would have used, well, if you're just using you would have used your bonus action to attempt to climb, and then if you're just moving, you'll still have your action left, so you could use your firebolt.
Okay. So I'm still going to blast this guy up on the ledge then once I move down.
Yeah, once you've backed away, it's going to come into view because, how physics work. So you'll be able to see it actually, like, sitting up there on the ledge about to start, like, creeping down.
Okay, then I'm about to hit it with a firebolt.
All right. Go ahead and make that attack roll.
But not with advantage, I take it.
Yeah, unfortunately not, due to the circumstances. It would have worked if you'd been able to nail it that first time. But go ahead and take that swing at it. Or, well, not swing in this case, but, 14 is enough. Go ahead and roll damage.
Oh, that's got my sneak attack on it too.
Yeah, that's funny. That'll be 1d10, so that's 6 damage. That is going to be enough to also set this pudding alight, and you will see it begin to burble internally as its skin now crackles with fire. The thing is going to also, actually, based on where it's at, it'll spread a little bit more additional illumination, but it will not be much. Alright, Ash, that's going to be your movement and your attack and your bonus, so that is going to take us over now to the pudding. The pudding is going to have a couple of options in front of it, based on the fact that everyone's sort of being pushed up against this wall here. The one on the high ground is going to begin to blurble, and let me take a quick measurement here. Yep. It not having the same sort of reservations as the rest of you to sort of occupy this stance like halfway between on and off the rock, what with it not having really any discernible anatomy. It is going to be able to squeeze into this area here and then also attack Zarus. Zarus... That is going to be enough to break your AC, and then it is going to be... Oh, one of these dice just fell right off that table. That is going to be a total of 12 damage from the slam, and then an additional 2 damage because the thing is on fire. And from there, that is going to be that pudding's turn, while the pudding to the south of it is going to advance on Lupe and begin to try to attack the halfling. There we go. The pudding is going to swing, and that is going to be a miss on Lupe as...
Thank God for that.
The thing is going to go wide. But, however, Lupe, as this ooze's turn ends, the fire is going to burn it to death, which is going to trigger it to roil and explode as finally the surface tension of this thing snaps and all of its superheated liquid hot innards are going to begin to just spray out like, hot tar. And so I'm going to need a reflex save from, let me look at the distance there. It's going to be just Lupe and, just Lupe. Everyone else is outside of the range of that. So Lupe, give me a dexterity saving throw as this thing now dies, but in doing so explodes in a poisonous ball. Poisonous explosion of like hot tar.
Will an 18 help?
An 18 will help you. However, it will not be enough to get you out of damage entirely. but it is actually going to be enough to keep you alive, because it does take the what would have been 9 damage down to a total of 5. So you are still standing, I believe.
I am barely just stable. I'm down to 1 now.
You are down to 1, but the pudding in front of you is dead. That does raise the question, though, of what this pudding is going to do here, as it now faces the choice between Lupe and Zarus. Lupe, having just been basically on the other side of this ooze while it exploded, the pudding is going to actually be moving after Zarus.
Not good. Down to 3 hit points.
Zarus, you will be glad to know that this pudding is going to miss in its attack, critically so as a result. And you find that as it zooms forward to try and slam you into the wall, it is accidentally going to end up running into its companion, and they are going to get kind of like locked up for a second as the fiery surface of both of them kind of acts to almost weld the two puddings' skins together. And that is going to be that one's turn, as that critical failure is going to buy you some time. But then this pudding over here is going to use a double movement to get back into the game, as it were. And it is going to be able to shift over to, let me double check from where it was. Okay, yeah, so that pudding is going to be able to make it right about there. It is not close enough to threaten Ash, but it is close enough to threaten Lupe. And then we go to Jasir. Jasir, you are up, and also very far to the south. What would you like to do, our Dragonborn cleric?
Okay.
Eel.
I'm going to move.
Hear Zarus screaming out in pain.
Pretty sure that's both of us right now.
Roll to scream louder. See if you can attract the cleric's attention first.
Okay. I'll move here.
Okay.
I will cast. Oh, I am not close enough. 1 sec. Okay.
Starting to wonder if that fire was a good idea for us.
I will cast. Do Shield of Faith on Zarus.
Okay.
And then I will use my breath attack. Oh, I thought that was 60 feet. It's 30.
That's just enough to hit Yugo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll do, ooh, that messes up my whole action, but I'm not gonna wreck on that. I'll do Toll the Dead then.
Okay. Which one of these puddings are you going to be tolling?
I'll do the one by Lupe.
Okay. I'll roll for that pudding. It looks like it's going to be able to make the saving throw on that.
Okay, then I'll move an additional 5 feet, and that's all I can do.
All right. From there, Jasir, you are able to extend some protection to your wizard companion in the form of a shield of faith that sort of wraps around them with these vibrant celestial bands that form a lattice-work armor and will hopefully protect them from the pudding's onslaught. But that is going to remain to be seen as we move over to Detlin. Detlin, you have the field in front of you as you've managed to put a considerable amount of distance between the puddings and yourself. What are you going to do?
He's going to move 10 feet there, try to pick up the small person over his shoulder.
Okay.
Is that going to be encumbered at that point?
If you are going to pick up Lupe, I'm going to ask for an athletics check, and that'll determine basically whether or not you're able to get like a good proper lift and like thus can carry him on your back like where you're supposed to carry weight, or if you, in the attempt to save him from the pudding, are forced to snatch him up under one arm like an insolent child. That 20 athletics is going to be enough to get Lupe onto your back in a way that I'm going to take 5 feet of movement from you, but I'll give you the rest.
Oi, what are you? Oh, motion sickness.
We're going to end up down there. Lupe, if you would, move yourself to the south of me as he sets you down behind him before looping the crossbow at the one that just attacked you.
All right.
Sweet.
That is going to be enough to grab a hold of your companion and shuffle him across the battlefield. The pudding is going to attempt to try and swing at Lupe as he gets pulled away, but he will miss as he does not have as he has disadvantage on the attack given the circumstances. So that critical from the crossbow does not go unnoticed. Go ahead and roll that. So you will manage to plant a crossbow bolt right into this creature as it begins to sort of pull itself back up into a singular blob, causing the hole that you puncture through it to be even larger. And then if the actual distance between layers of it being shortened, the bolt pierces out through the other side, and so it now begins pouring out its life through it from either direction. The fire on the creature now being even more intense as the inner fluids continue to fuel it. That is, I believe, all of your action economy, unless you'd like to use a second wind or something.
Not yet.
Okay. Detlin, way to go, saving your companion, and then I'm sure they will pay it back in kind. As Lupe, it is your turn now.
First, I'm going to use Healing Word on Zaris, and then on myself for an action.
Okay, unfortunately, you can only, unless a spell is a cantrip, you can only cast one spell per turn by the rules of 5th edition to keep players from, like, doing weird spell interactions. So you'll be able to, it still only costs a bonus action, but you'll have to do something else with your main action.
Okay, would I be able to use Bard of Inspiration on myself then, or no?
Yeah, you can inspire somebody and use Healing Word in the same turn for sure.
Okay, cool. Then I'll heal Zaris and then use a Bard of Inspiration on myself, just in case.
Okay. Right. Go ahead and roll the Healing Word for Zaris to see if you can manage to get crucial hit points into your companion, as they may need them. 7 for... Oh, that's a healing... Yeah, okay, cool. Sorry, I thought it was Cure Wounds for a second. So yeah, that's going to be a definitely a solid healing word. You are going to still have your movement left also after the inspiration, so just if you want to move yourself around the battlefield, please do. But from there, Lupe, I'm going to cycle it over to Zaris. Zaris, you find yourself in an increasingly precarious situation as more and more of these puddings begin to encircle you. What would you like to do?
Curl up into a ball and but that's probably not going to help me.
Yeah, story of my
I'm
life.
not going to do
right?
that. Yeah. I'm going to disengage, so I don't provoke any attacks of opportunity. And then I am going to run straight down.
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And
All right. Attempting
That's
to
not
pass
quite-
through that ooze's space is going to cause you to,
oh, the dead one?
yeah, the dead one, because it is still basically this like bubbling pool of kind of flaming pitch.
Oh, okay.
It is going to make you take damage. I'm not going to make you absorb that, but yeah, I would rethink your trajectory there.
Good. Thank you. Let's see. So I can do. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. That puts me pretty far away from them. Good enough. Yeah, I'll do that, and then use my bonus action, my flaming sphere, towards that amalgam of 2 flaming puddings, and hopefully
All right.
do a little damage to at least that closest one.
Got it. Go ahead and roll your 2d6s.
What's the range on Flaming Sphere?
Flaming Sphere can move, I believe it's 20 feet, or is it 15? We'll double check really quick, but in as far as the range on like its effect, Flaming Sphere does damage. Can move at 30 actually. Just check. It does damage when you run it into things, or if something ends its turn in like next to it. So
Yeah, that's why I was at exactly 30 from where it was. He could pinch both of them together and cause both of them to take damage.
Oh, that further enough? Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I can move it like up feet. Is that going to be enough to get over their first put in?
that will
Can move up over objects.
Yes, that will be enough to get it over.
Okay, then I'm going to jump over that one. Fireball parkour. Land it right between the two and try to do that damage to both of them.
Okay. Rolling their saves. It looks like they are, of course, going to be taking some damage from the sphere. How much, it's hard to tell as they're sort of stuck together and both on fire at this point. But you can see that as you press the sphere closer to them, the membrane in that section of the pudding begins to thin out and almost melt away. Zaris, that is going to...
Not thicken and make them mush together and
No, it
figure
does not,
out
it does
how to
not
control
fuse them into the
themselves.
super pudding, unfortunately. I will make notes for that. Notes for next time. Invent super pudding. That is going to put us over to Ash Garahest. Ash, now, a moment ago you were one of the furthest from the combat, and suddenly now you're the closest. You are not threatened by the pudding in front of you, but if it closes even maybe a foot or two more, you will be. What would you like to do?
I keep trying to set up a sneak attack, but everybody keeps running away. So I get it. I'm about to do that too. But before I do, I'm going to fire an arrow into this slime, or into this pudding.
Okay.
Before I run over to join my people.
You got it.
And
Firing that arrow. Go ahead and give me an attack roll. That'll certainly hit. These puddings are not that dexterous. And 3 damage as that arrow kind of goes into the pudding. The thing manages to flatten itself out enough that you only nick kind of a small exterior edge. And though it does do some damage, it isn't the critical shot to the center mast you were hoping.
Okay. So then I dash down here, or I don't dash. I just move down here with them, and that is my turn.
All right. From there, Ash, we go to the puddings. Now, the puddings are going to have a few choices in front of them as the party begins to gather up, but let us see exactly how this plays out. Pudding number 1 is going to be able to, as Zaris is the closest, attack them. And moving in, Zaris, you are going to get puddinged for a total of... sorry.
AC 17.
AC 17, right. I just remember that. You are not going to get puddinged, actually.
Yeah.
That is going to save you from that pudding. However, the other puddings are, or at least one of them is still within strike range. So the other pudding is going to also advance. And that is going to now threaten Ash and Zaris. And Zaris, let us see if this second pudding is going to... The second pudding is going to roll an 18, which is enough to hit. And... Zaris, you are going to take a total of... That is going to be 11 damage as this pudding slams you with its flaming body. And I'm... Unfortunately, because of the fact that you are going to go unconscious, I believe? Or no?
Yeah.
I'm going to need you to make a death saving throw. And you are not going to be able to contest as this pudding tries to suck you into its body.
Oh, yikes.
That is a successful death saving throw for the time being.
Okay. Something.
And then from there, we go to the last pudding, which is not going to be able to move and strike effectively in this turn. And it will instead circle around and use its movement to try as best it can kind of pincer Detlin. Let me make sure I've got enough for that. Yeah, okay, I've got just enough for that. I'm going to actually have to slide it up just slightly. So Detlin, it's coming in at an angle instead of straight on. But that is going to be the first of our companions potentially going down. Pudding's turn over. We go to Jasir. Jasir, what are you going to do?
Okay.
It's worth noting that your companion, Zaris, has been basically grappled by this pudding. I'll move them to the front. And Zaris, because of that, this thing is going to continue to deal damage to you, which is going to escalate the rate at which you make death saving throws quite rapidly. And that's just information for the rest of the party. So
he's like being held by it?
Yeah, he's being held by it, and at this point, all of them are on fire, so it's going to actively deal damage.
Okay.
Jasir, not to rush you, but
yeah. How high is like this area? Oh, I'm hidden. Sorry. How high is like this?
Oh, from where you currently are.
Yeah, like off the ground.
That is actually, it's a pretty gentle slope. So these tiles right here, you can walk up without it being really a reduction to movement speed. Then when you get to these tiles that are right here towards the center, those are more like kind of vertical. The top of this, I know it kind of is hard to imagine, but it's flat like that because it's supposed to be like a planing of the cave roof. And so this is actually a pillar that goes all the way to the ceiling.
Okay.
Jassir, your companion's life is on the line. What would you like to do?
Yeah.
Question. If we do damage on that one, would we deal damage to him?
Well, if you don't, it's still going to do damage to me. Better that I only get the damage from you rather than it also.
Okay, I am going to cast Shatter.
Okay. Go for it.
I'm gonna make that.
All right, it rolls a natural 20 on its Constitution saving throw. It is still going to take damage from that shatter. And the shatter is going to disrupt the thing fairly effectively. It is going to splatter more of that flaming pitch, though. So your companion, it looks like Ash to the south, you're going to take... You've got fire resistance, actually, so you're only going to take literally 1 point of damage as you get, like, splattered by just a wave of this thing's, like, plasm when Jassir causes this... Oh, are you maxing out the damage?
Yeah, and so that should hit all 3 of them.
Oh, right, because of the radius. I always think that Shatter's single target in my head. Let me double check. All right, that's going to be a second successful saving throw, and then the third one is going to be a failure. So the one next to Detlin is going to fail the saving throw and take full. The other 2 are going to take their half, as it were, and that shatter is going to be pretty profound on the one that takes full damage, as 3d8s maxed out is, for those of you doing the home game, 24 damage. And with the damage that's already been put onto that thing, it is... Or actually, no, that was the only one that had been affected so far by that was the flaming sphere. But yeah, it's looking rough. It is looking rough. That is also going to splatter Detlin, however, and Detlin... You're going to take 3 points of damage.
Have to 2 for fire or 3
sorry, yes, 2 for fire. All right. And Jassir, that's your...
Action.
Mm-hmm.
And I cannot do 2 spells. So I'll use my bonus action to hit this one, or use my spiritual weapon and try to hit it.
Okay. Gonna hit the one next to your companion. Go ahead. Yeah.
Might be wiser to hit the one next to me. That way we're not splashing the guy that we're trying to save his life.
He's gonna splash either way. I'll do this one.
All right. Go ahead and roll that damage.
Or would I be able to, like, hit it, like, kind of away from them?
You can move your spiritual weapon basically through areas like that, more or less. So you can attempt to, but
Okay,
the
I'll try to
splatter
swing.
of the weapon coming down, it's just hard to predict.
Got it. Okay, so let's do that.
Go ahead and roll the attack for that. Nicely done.
So does that crit?
It does crit. Go ahead and double that damage. All right, that is going to be enough with the maxed out shatter to effectively obliterate that pudding, but it is going to cause a problem in the fact that that thing is now going to explode. Ash, once again, just outside of the range of effect for this thing as you watch this thing erupt, but that is going to be able to hit Detlin. Zaris is thankfully going to be insulated from this explosion because they are currently pulled into this pudding. But
warm input in.
that is, as soon as your turn or its turn hits, you're going to be in for it, buddy. That is going to 1 second. I'm just rolling damage. Detlin, I'm going to need a dexterity saving throw from you. All right, that's enough. So you are only going to take half, and in this case, that is going to be a total of 7. And then because that is fire, you are then only going to take 4. From there, Jasir, after having mightily managed to pound one of these oozes to a pulp, you are going to pass the turn along to Detlin, who may or may not end up pulling a repeat of their same companion-saving maneuver as last round.
I still have my movement. Can I do that?
Oh, I thought you had moved. I'm sorry. Go for it.
Okay.
I'm going to reveal also the last bit of that area down there, as you would have all definitely been able to catch it by now. It looks like the cave dead ends there, at least. But it does look to probably move up and around, as you see that there is, obviously, over here, a bit of still continuing area. Now, Jasir, I've seen you move. That means I am going to pass it over to Detlin. Detlin, what would you like to do with your turn?
Is it going to be a bonus action to oppose strength, try to pull my friend out of this ooze, or is it going to be an action?
It will be an action to pull your friend out of the ooze.
Okay, we're going to do this Hercules style. I'm going to step up here and pull my buddy out.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an athletics check as you attempt to reach into this creature and rip your companion out from the almost suction that has formed from the sticky tar-like innards of this pudding clinging to his every surface. 16 athletics. All right, you are gonna get lucky with that one. It looks like the pudding is going to roll to oppose, and the result is going to be a critical failure. You are going to be able to rip Zaris out of this pudding, and in doing so, actually also cause this pudding to take damage, as when Zaris comes popping out of its surface membrane, it acts as kind of a giant wound in the creature that tears open, and more of its life fluid begins to leak out. You are going to take 2 fire damage for having stuck your hands into the creature, and I'm also going to need you to make a fresh Constitution saving throw. All right, that con is fine. These things don't have a very high check in that regard, so that 12 is going to be enough to stave off the effects of it. And with that, you have your companion. You've got Zaris in hand, covered in what is, surely some sort of foul, toxic gunk, but not being smothered by a fiery pudding.
All right, I'm going to put him in front of me, so I'm shielding him with my back, and then we're going to step out and drop him to the south of me.
Okay.
So if it into attack of opportunity, it's going to be punching me in the back.
You got it. And certainly it is going to do so as it attempts to punch you in the back. Detlin, that is going to be a success. And you are going to be looking at, looks like 10 damage with the ooze's slam, and then 2 of that would have been fire, and so it gets cut in half, and so yeah, you're at 10. Well, you take 10 damage from that. And then...
So once I set him down, we're going to action surge, turn around, and put a crossbow bolt through that one to see if that's enough to end it.
Okay.
And then bonus action second wind.
Got it. Crossbow is enough to hit with that 18. That 9 is going to be enough to end that ooze as it pops. Unfortunately, it being on fire, Ash, you finally are going to have to dodge for your life as this thing, or not life, but certainly some damage, as it explodes, and you're going to risk getting covered in a wave of this fiery pitch-like substance. Ash?
What do I need to roll?
Dexterity saving throw, please, as the pudding next to you explodes once it dies. And then after that, while Ash is getting that saving throw going, it's going to be... Alright, that is enough, so you'll be taking half damage from this. And because you're a tiefling, it looks like it's going to settle out to a total of only 3 points of damage because of your fire resistance. That is then going to go to the top of the order with Lupe Gildentoe. Lupe, down here, you see Zaris has been set down, but is likely to be in trouble as they are still not breathing properly. You can see the old wizard is clinging to life in a battle for their very soul. Lupe, what would you like to do? Lupe? Push
Did you not hear me?
Oh, there we go. Now I can hear you.
Sorry.
This one?
First I'm going to save Zaris with a healing word and give him my last Bard of Inspiration.
Okay. Go ahead and roll that healing word, and that last inspiration is going to go to Zaris. As also, it's important to note that on this turn, Jasir, you are, because we're at the top of this order, going to notice with your 15 passive perception. Let me grab a hold of the right. There we go. There is going to be what looks like some sort of humanoid, vaguely, but scaled and lizard-like creatures of some kind beginning to work their way around the corner up to the north here. I'll go ahead and ping it on the map. As you see that their skin is almost like a form of active camouflage, being fitted very well for this subterranean environment. They're difficult to see in the distance, but it looks like they, because of their number, a couple of them are kind of standing out against the rock where they might otherwise have moved unseen, and you see them flit by with stone, hatchet, and spears in hand, looking like they are investigating the sounds of combat that are arising from this chamber. Whether or not they are fully aware of you and your companions and what is happening, you do not know, but you can see them in the far distance being illumined against the wall by these still, like, the one remaining pudding that is as if a giant bonfire right now. And that is just a note for you, but Lupe, that's your life-saving healing word to Zaris, which is going to wrench the wizard back from the very precipice of death and see them open their eyes with a and fortunately rejoin us in the land of the living. Lupe, you have your movement left, however. What would you like to do with that?
Question.
Yeah, what's up?
Did I notice those at all coming up front?
Unfortunately, your passive perception was not high enough. Jasir at the moment is the only one who has seen them.
Alright, then yeah, that's gonna be all I can do right now.
Alright. Then from there, we're going to go on to Zaris Lokudora. Zaris, you snap back to reality, but it looks like gravity is still here. So, what would you like to do?
Splayed out on the ground, I wipe the ooze away, roll over. It's still back there. I cast Scorching Ray at the last remaining one.
Alright, go ahead and give me that Scorching Ray. That'll be 3 different attacks against this pudding.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, Zaris does not like getting covered in pudding. And so that is going to be 3 successful ray attacks. Go ahead and roll damage for all 3 of them. That's 66s. All right, nice. This pudding is a little bit fresher than the ones that you guys, than the one that your companion Detlin just destroyed. So that is not going to be enough to kill it, but you are going to see the fire is going to do so much damage to this thing that it barely has any of its mass left inside of it. It is like bleeding out in every direction. Literally, its life fluids boiling out through its skin, and it's unable to contain them. You imagine that were this creature to have pain receptors, it would be an unspeakable agony. Zaris, that is your action, and it takes half of your movement to stand up. So what else would you like to do with your turn, if anything?
Yeah, it would take half to stand. I don't think I'm gonna scramble backwards on the ground towards my companions.
Okay. Go for it. And from there we go to Ash. Ash, it is your turn. Having managed to endure this like toxic and also like literally combusting adversary that has covered you in its like just tar-like self, you are thankful for your tiefling heritage, as there's something about having the same blood in you as the creatures that flow in the hells and the abyss that makes you a little bit more impervious to these things. What would you like to do with your turn?
So I obviously I'm helping him drag him out and back here, and then I'm going to come over here and join a little bit off, a little bit behind, but right about here. I think that's about my movement, and then I will ready my short bow in case. When this guy comes back up on us, I'm going to fire at it, but not until he gets within 5 feet of the group.
Got it. That is going to then, if that's the end of your turn, pass it on to the pudding, and that pudding is going to advance on Detlin and take a swing at the Dragonborn in an attempt to perhaps ooh, and it goes out with a bang, with a natural critical, as this thing is gonna double its ooze slam damage, and that is gonna woof. Okay, Detlin, so the damage without the fire is a total of 21, and then it would have put a total of 5 fire damage on you, so that cut in half with the rounding up is 3, so 24 total. Just a hair over that ooze's the other ooze's critical. And after that, that's the pudding's turn. It's got no other tricks. It's just, oh, actually, I take that back. I'm also gonna need an opposed athletics to prevent this thing from like pulling you into itself. Oh, and that's good. So you will be just fine. Just fine indeed. And then we go to Jasir. Jasir, you are up. You have noticed the cave lizards creeping in from the very far back of the cavern. It looks as if you are just seconds away from being able to turn the tide against these puddings, however. What would you like to do?
Okay. I'm going to use my bonus action to spiritual weapon attack the remaining sludge.
Okay. Go for it. That is unfortunately not going to be enough to hit.
Okay. I'm going
yep.
to...
I just saw Ash's short bow roll. I'm gonna resolve that real quick because that was his held action. Go ahead and roll damage on that. 5. Okay, that is not enough. It is so close. This thing is so close to being dead. You stick that arrow out of it, and Ash, you watch as the thing almost begins to like zipper apart. It's still like struggling and thrashing, but you know it's just a matter of time before that thing dies or the fire consumes it.
Okay, I'm going to pull out my scroll of Pass Without Trace and target the party and myself and say in a hushed tone, "We need to kill this thing quick and either run or hide. We have a big group of some creatures coming this way now." And I'll move. After using that, I'll move and try to hide behind this whatever that stone thing is.
Okay, it is actually a stalactite. Again, it's just you have to keep in mind that the ceiling has been like cut away, and also, yeah, I just saw that sneak attack damage get rolled, Ash, and because the pudding is adjacent to your companion, it is totally legal. So that is going to do enough damage to push it over the line and rupture the thing, murdering it. You see it explode in a tidal wave of just ichor that is on fire that spills over your companion's boots. Detlin, I'm going to need a dexterity saving throw from you as you get caught in yet another one of these things, kind of like molten tidal waves.
I would like to use my inspiration now.
Okay, you got it. Go ahead and roll that. I believe it's a D6 at this level.
Yes, it is.
All right, and that is going to be enough to see you safely. And so with the damage being halved and then halved again, you are only going to take the 1 point, which is the minimum of damage I can award you. And that will take you out of combat for the moment, but it will leave you still being threatened potentially by the lizard creatures that are beginning to make their way in from that entrance of the cavern that is a little bit further to the north. I'm going to transition us out of this battle ambience and zoom back in on the party. You now have the benefit of the Pass Without Trace spell, which is going to give you all plus 10 to all of your stealth checks.
Just going to be holding my ribs bleeding profusely and kind of point down the stairs.
I'm following you. These burns hurt.
You guys okay? I singed a little bit of hair on my arm. But you guys good?
Zaris coughs up a little more of this black pudding from his lungs and just tries to slough off whatever ooze he can. Just, you singed your hair? Oh, God.
I'm sure
sorry.
God did it instead of me this time.
DM,
Yeah.
do I have advantage for stealth due to my gnomish Lightfoot?
Yes. Hold on. Your Lightfoot?
Yes.
Yes.
Halfling, sorry.
Oh, halfling. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, given the situation, you are able to find a situation that will advantageous terrain, because there are so many things around you that would provide you with cover.
So, do I still need to make that roll then for stealth?
Yeah, no, you always roll, always. Because even if a situation would be, a natural thing, there's always critical failures and also critical successes, both of which can sometimes be crucial if your companions mess up their roll. All right. 10, 13, 16. I see that. +4. So
Oh wait, I still have inspiration on myself too.
you also get +10 from the pass without trace that Jassier put on the rest of the put on the party. So
Right.
that
Never mind.
that 10 is a 20. I still need stealth checks from Ash and Zarus and Detlin at this point. Or no, sorry, I saw one from Detlin. So I need one from Ash. All right, that's a 22, and that's a 20. All right, are you all remaining here as those lizard creatures begin to advance and investigate, or like what's your general path and what is your marching order as you attempt to kind of sneak or conceal yourselves?
I'll whisper to everyone. Let's everyone stay hidden. Let's at least see what these things are before we make any rash decisions.
So stand our ground and hide? Is that the plan?
That's what I'm doing.
I'll do the same.
All right.
Pretty good at that, aren't you? Yeah,
Looks like
that's
it's the
that's
plan.
the way to go.
All right, if everyone is going to stay where they are and hide, you are going to see these creatures begin to advance down to the very place that that you had sort of repelled into this sewer from. You'll note that they are very difficult to see. Their gray skins and kind of shifting, like brown-colored scales, seemingly almost perfectly camouflage with the stone around them as they move. I'm gonna go ahead and 1 second. Okay, there we go.
I would like
They
to
are
note that our
just pinging the
glowing
map
torch-
where they are. They get down to this section where your rope is hanging, and they're going to begin looking up at it, and a couple of them are going to begin climbing it curiously, seemingly investigating, as a couple of more of them begin to let out clicks and chirps, some of them gesturing back from the way they came, and others gesturing around them into the darkness. You're not exactly sure what it is that they're trying to communicate, but it looks as if a couple that are remaining are now also going to begin like spreading out and starting to scout the area a little bit. They are definitely interested in these flaming pools of pudding that have been created down here, but at the moment they don't seem to pay you any mind. I will, looking at the situation and the time, gonna use this opportunity to cut away for a quick 10-minute break, give or take, for our players to, and myself, replenish their water, snacks, whatever things that they need to do for maintenance and get their heads right, as they do have a little bit of a strategic situation on their hands and a few options in front of them, and this will also give everybody a moment to clear their heads and maybe discuss. So in the meantime, I'm going to do a quick wind down, and then we'll get out of here for 10 minutes so that we can all get our health potions and mana resupplied. I just want to take the quick time to remind anybody who has joined us in the interim that you are not just watching a Dungeons & Dragons stream simply, but this is a competitive game show format where death is real and our companions are journeying, hopefully closer and closer still, to the dungeon that will contain the first of many cash prizes, this one being $500 to the surviving contestants who managed to step foot into the threshold of this terribly evil subterranean fortress. Beyond that, we are also here raising money for rotating community charities. Right now, we are raising money for extralife.org, which is in itself an organization that helps to spread awareness and organize gamers all over the world in order to make donations to Children's Miracle Network hospitals. So we're just spreading some of that love around, and as we move forward with production, we will be introducing escalating prize pools in the coming months, as well as hopefully all other manner of fun and engaging things being produced by the Guild of Mazes for you as fans, contestants, and players of the game to enjoy. I will see you all in just a moment, and thank you very much for joining us up into this point. if you're watching this, chances are you're not joining us live at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Sundays or Tuesdays, when you could be a part of the action as a contestant or a fan, helping to interact with the contestants and learning the rules and the ropes of the game, as you might then go on to one day become the greatest of them all. And this will be the very first step in your building blocks towards becoming the greatest champion of good or evil that the world of Eidolon has ever seen. Join us now and change the very world in which they play. And we are back, everyone. Welcome to So You Think You Can Quest. We are returning from the break. And if you are not sure with what you're looking at, we are a competitive, free-to-play, Dungeons & Dragons-based game show with real cash prizes and precious stones, at least one of which will be won by the end of the evening by one of our contestants. But in the meantime, they've just defeated 4 flaming black puddings. Well, they were just black puddings before our party set them on fire, and seem to have attracted the attention of some sort of cave-dwelling, lizard-like, humanoid creature that has begun to investigate the area after the sounds of battle resounded throughout the cavern, and the glow of the massive bonfire-like burning puddings attracted their otherwise dark inclined senses. And so, while the party did have, conveniently, a scroll of Pass Without Trace that the cleric had been given at the start of their character creation randomly due to their guild association, and has reserved for just such a crucial occasion, they are still between a rock and a hard place, as the puddings had managed to put them out of position from where they had originally entered the cavern, which is about here. And that means that the lizards are now investigating the rope that they had used to climb down with, and lack a true means of escape. Will they go away before the party is forced to find some other means or possible path within this cavern with which to escape? Or will the party lick their wounds and see if they can't catch these lizards by surprise and put the old Gildo Maze's hurt on them for a minute? This and many more options lay in front of them, but we'll have to see what they choose as I now turn it over to our players. Please take it away. It is no one's turn in particular, as you all huddle here, semi-translucent due to the magical effects, so each one of you looks like sort of a low-rent predator as you're the creature from the movies, as you are kind of huddled behind the stones and stalagmites that are obscuring the current view of these lizard people. Are you all just going to hold tight based on the stealth checks that we rolled, or do you have a plan emerging?
How far away are they now?
At this point, I'll make the measurement. They are, if you follow that purple arrow, the two that are most keen to scout this area where these burning puddings lay slain are about 70 and 80 feet away from your current position, respectively. Ash, who is the closest, is more like 60 feet, but he's also behind a fairly large boulder.
Are they looking, like, in our general direction at this moment?
They are looking in your general direction. They don't seem to be aware of you, as they're not, like, on guard. You don't see their hatchet and spear up, and they're not darting towards your location. It seems as if this moment they are investigating the scene of this battle and trying to ascertain exactly what had happened here as they begin to lower their lizard-like faces down to the very stone of the cavern floor and kind of sniff and crawl across it, looking up at one another occasionally and sort of scraping up some of the pudding and some of their, like, almost claw-like appendages and whiffing it, and then looking up over to see the remnants of the battle. You are unsure what their opinion of the scene is as they survey it, but their investigation and sort of like tracking of this is going to take some time, so you do have precious seconds with which to decide upon a course of action. What would you like to do?
Do I still? So my spiritual weapon lasts a minute. How much longer would I have on that?
That spiritual weapon at this point, I believe, after you had cast the Pass Without Trace and you had all come over here and started hiding, and we were in real time, you would maybe have a round or two left on this thing at that point. But it is also worth knowing that I didn't. I should have asked. I assumed that you dismissed it. What with the fact that it is a massive like glowing like animated hammer. Are you in fact going to play that into your ruse somehow, or what's your plan here?
Well, let's see how far I can move this thing.
Can I do a perception check to see if I can hear what they're saying?
Certainly. They do seem to be speaking in some sort of very obviously like high pitched lizard tongue of some kind. So you don't necessarily know if there's more to it than that. But go ahead and give me a perception, see if you can accurately get a bead on what they're trying to say. There may be some amount of language hidden in beneath the clicking and the yawping.
I do speak Draconic.
So with the 18 and your knowledge of Draconic, you do manage to catch some primitive root words kind of being exchanged, and this tells you a couple things. One, these people are likely of like little education, as the way that they use the language seems very stunted, and also as if they only are familiar with a handful of words. The rest they have filled in with kind of just body posturing and growling, and literally, as I was describing, what is more of just an accent to sort of a primitive 3 or 4 word command based like exchanges. And then, because of your draconic knowledge and that 18 perception, you get the idea that they're basically exchanging, what this? What happened? What there? Where go? As they look around, and you see that based on their ability to survey the situation, they're becoming interested in the fact that there are clearly like tracks and like splatter directions from all of the puddings that managed to paint a general momentum of a battle that sort of happened in one direction. So while they haven't like put 2 and 2 together, and they're not charging down the steps to go pursue who they think may have fled in that direction, they're kind of cautiously now looking around, as if perhaps they're alert to the fact that there might be interlopers of some kind off in the vague direction that you are, or perhaps having fled down and off to the east there from the lower ledge and that exit to the cavern in that direction.
Would I have enough time to use like 2 bonus actions and move it twice, essentially? Okay, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna move it 40.
Okay.
10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. And I'm just gonna hit the ground. Can I like hit the ground with it to like make a noise and then dismiss it?
All right. If that's your
When he-
plan, then
Tremors with my whatever that spell is called. I can't pronounce.
yeah, you can do that.
It's only 30 feet though.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but where would you like to center the tremors around? Is what I would ask.
Where? Oh, it's only 30
Like, yeah,
feet.
you'd have to point on the.
I had that same idea.
Okay, never mind.
So then, with that, they're going to be able to. Oh damn! They're going to be able to see that hammer float along, and they're gonna eye it very cautiously as it makes its way down to the low ground and then slams and disappears. And the two are going to look at each other, and Lupe, you'll hear one of them go, "What that? Shaman, no. wait here, grab big one. And one of them is going to stand guard, kind of just staring off in your general direction idly. Again, their vision not really seeming to go far enough to even really cover where you are. And then the other one that was by its side is going to disappear and head back towards where the rest of its companions are, nearby, investigating the area with the hanging rope, as it seems like a couple of the lizards that went up have now come back down the rope and are talking amongst themselves, now far enough away that Lupe, even with your 18, you're not going to be able to distinguish what they are saying, only that they're all very confused about what's going on and now becoming increasingly kind of agitated or alert. I'm gonna grab a hold of this one here just to ping where the sentry is for the moment that's kind of looking off into the darkness.
With that, I'll let everybody know that sounds like they're getting the leader. Might need to hurry up and figure out what we're gonna do. And I will also open up my mastery box, see what's in it.
Oh, your mystery box. Okay. Go ahead and roll a D100, please. I was rolling these originally, but I think it's more fun to have the players do it. All right. With a 77, you are going to open that box to find inside there is what looks to be a like a tin, and inside of that tin is some kind of paste or almost like salve of some kind, and on the outside of it there's just going to be what look to be like 2 plus signs.
No wording of what it could be?
Nope.
Can I make some kind of check to possibly find out what the symbols mean?
The symbols are clearly just plus signs, like as if like addition. They're not arcane in any way. So whatever this is, it's double plus good.
I'm gonna sniff it and then lick it.
All right. Sniffing it, you don't get much, as it seems to be like some sort of balm wrapped up in like a fairly neutral smelling oil or of some kind. Licking it provides much the same, as it's just kind of, it's almost greasy to the like the palate, but you do get kind of this immediate sensation upon your tongue that instills you with this feeling of I guess both warmth and also security, and you feel as if that were you to apply this balm heavily, the effects would likely be one that would boost your I'm gonna say abilities or just perceptions of the world and the way that you interact with it, though you're not exactly sure in what way specifically.
I'm gonna whisper to the party again and say, "We can stay like this for an hour, but we have plenty of time."
Oh. Let's all go to the corner.
You think they're going to be...
While they're whispering, I'd like to take a small bit and apply it to my burns, see if that helps with it.
Okay. Applying that to your burns, you will find that it does help a little bit, and using up a third of the tin, you will be able to restore 1d8 worth of health.
Do we want to try to take a short rest here? Just stay in this corner?
Yeah. Do you think we have time?
We have an hour.
Waiting these guys out. Let's rest up a little bit while in hiding. Eventually, they're going to come and get us, or we're going to. I mean, we could go east. There seems to be some more stuff there, but we're going to have to take this other guy out before we do.
I think let's try to rest while we can.
Yeah, let's rest, because They are quite stupid in language.
That's good. I can't cast a ritual while taking a short rest, can I?
So because a ritual takes 10 minutes and a short rest by the rules, you have to spend an entire hour in order to accomplish it, in which you do nothing but rest. The answer to that is unfortunately no. However, I was going to say that the hour estimate for your rest is a little off because one of your companions does have a zodiac ability that otherwise speeds up that process to a very convenient 45 minutes. And now we start to see the real power of the accommodating hippogriff.
And we are definitely going to use that lovely hippogriff.
All right, the zodiac ability in play, you are all able to accomplish a short rest in 45 minutes. I'm going to ask for a renewed stealth check over that time, just to make sure that you don't do anything or accidentally, critically fumble something. But I will give you all advantage on it, seeing as how you are currently all concealed and out of the line of sight and are very aware of the fact that you're being monitored. And then plus your pass without trace, so long as nobody really, really messes up here, everyone should be fine. As the conditions are fairly certain. Okay, yeah, and even with that, so all of you are generously taken care of, just remembering to speak quietly and walk softly when moving from position to position in the cavern. You're able to sort of huddle behind this group of boulders back here and get into your packs softly, apply bandages and otherwise kind of fix your armor and get your swords and arrows clean. And ready to go. You're all going to then spend the 45 minutes short resting. What ritual were you looking at, Zaris? What were you thinking about?
Find familiar. What do you folks think?
That is awesome. Do it.
Try to find a sneaky one.
Yeah. Morgan does not know the spell well enough to know the best familiar to this situation. Any of the other players?
Remember, whatever familiar you summon will be your familiar forever. So, just because it's convenient to this situation,
is that how that works
does
here?
not necessarily mean it's convenient at all. But you are certainly welcome to cast that. I will say, however, though, that it is actually a casting time of 1 hour. Now that I'm looking at it.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking it might overlap with the
Yeah,
short
if
rest,
it overlaps with that, you would not be able to take advantage of that short rest. And then I will also note that the ritual is going to cause light and the effects of an interdimensional
burning
being
incense
popping through. So because of that, and you would know this, which is why I warn you, it would definitely cause the effect of more or less like a flare going off wherever you are.
Would I be able to still be quiet enough to use Song of Rest for the party?
I would ask that you would make a performance check, and the results of if they're low enough may in fact, cause you to be too loud.
Can I guidance that?
I don't know. Should I do it, guys?
That is something you can do.
If you want to do it. We all should have full hit dice. I don't know if people need that.
Advantage or disadvantage?
On the persuasion, performance, it would just be regular.
Okay.
Given the situation.
Nice.
Okay. that is going to be more than enough to be able to kind of like softly, as you're walking back and forth and keeping a ginger step across all the stone, not to disturb any of the slightest pebbles or rubble, whisper encouraging words into your companion's ears, and also, a quick bit of magic escapes your lips, and you are able to imbue them with the benefits of your Song of Rest. So you will all be able to take advantage of that. Yeah, go ahead and spend
I think
all
that's
the
going to
hit
be
dice
most
that you'd like
advantageous.
to for your rest. Everybody... Zaris, are you still going for the Find
think
Familiar? I didn't mean to talk you out of it. I was just trying to explain to you the,
Important to know I think right now it might be best to, get some... use some hit dice during a short rest.
Okay, got it.
So
So how
I
does
will
that
put
work?
up Twitch just to... So during short rest, we've got hit dice based on our character class equal to the level.
Yes.
And you can just roll as many as you want for that one at a time and restore that many hit points.
You can do that
Plus
right on your
So
character
if
sheet.
And then you
Plus one.
regenerate
Yeah, that's right.
them over long rests based on whatever your Constitution modifier is.
So you can use them during the short rest, and then you regain them during the long rest.
Yes.
You have a total of 5 because I gave a extra die to y'all.
Yeah. And then it's also, but you can just go onto your character sheet, and in the center of it, they're right above where your weapons are in their, like your attack options. You can actually just click on the hit die, and it will, like you're seeing in chat, it'll just roll your calculated, adjusted for whatever class you are and whatever your Constitution modifier is. Yeah, just like that. So everyone make sure to spend your hit dice, get your, self situated, and I will describe what transpires over the course of this hour, as the company of this cavern is going to certainly not stand completely still during this time. Okay. If everyone is satisfied, I just want an affirmative before I move on.
I think so.
Okay. All right. Zaris is getting...
Yep.
Get one last one in.
Well, that,
Um,
well, yeah, that's the bonus from him.
yeah, I know. That is going to mean that...
Just to make sure I don't get that bonus, correct?
You do not. I believe that is correct.
Okay,
It says
just
on
had
the-
to
Yeah,
double check.
revitalize your wound.
No,
It says you or any
yeah,
friendly
I was
creature.
just reading. It says you or any
Oh,
friendly creatures.
Yeah,
So you do get that bonus.
nice.
Unfortunately, Ash, the way that resting mechanics work is that you can't do anything but rest during that time. Otherwise, you you don't get the ability to regain your hit points.
You got another 15 minutes of the Pass Without Trace, though.
Sure. To update you on what has transpired in the 45 minutes, though, while you have been resting, it seems that the rest of the lizards that had gone up the rope have come back down, and a few more have returned from around the corner and have now gathered here in the, very small rays of sunlight that are coming still in from the like holes up above in the patchwork construction that is filling in the town square, and they are all kind of bickering with each other, gesturing with spears. Some of them are escalating the tones of their voice, but it is each time they do, Lupe, only to sort of scream in defiance of the other ones, so it doesn't seem to be anything useful as far as information is concerned, only just insults curled and draconic, and them accusing the other ones of being weak or stupid or foolish for whatever it was plan that they had moments ago suggested in a whisper. Meanwhile, the sentry that was watching you has finally been joined by another one, and they have begun poking around the black puddings a bit more. They are still completely unaware of you all, and during that time, they are also going to then retreat a little bit and post up again on the outside of the circle. So that is more or less everything that transpires. At this point, Ash, if you want to make a sleight of hand check, or I guess it would be to try and apply some of the poison from your poisoner's kit to your arrows, you're welcome to it. But know that, like, again, that will take time. And what is the rest of the party trying to do right now?
So we have a little bit of time left where we can remain stealthy. After that, I'm not sure. I don't know if we want to get into another combat right now.
Let's wait for them to go away.
We can only hope, my good lad.
Yeah.
We should be okay.
might
Have to.
We still have looks like there's some more to the cavern to the east, so we could make a dash that way if need be.
We could have one or two people scout out that way while the pass without trace is still effective.
Maybe it might be wise for you, Zoris, and another one to do that, as you could relay back a message what's out there.
Yeah, as long as the people I need to talk to.
You want the short midget to do it?
Anyone who'd like to come along?
Not really, but
Hiding.
Do we want to split up, or do we want to? It might be wise to just go now while we're able to.
I like your
Yes.
idea. Let's do it. Let's get the hell
You
out
want
of
to just
here.
make a run for it, or are we going to try to sneak out of here?
Sneak, but we'll have some time where we should be able to make it without gaining too much attention if we kind of hug the walls of this ledge.
And then you're going to go east is the plan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to drop far behind to try to be unnoticed by this party if they get discovered.
Okay, got it. What distance is that?
About 20 feet.
Okay, got it.
And how tall is this ledge?
That ledge varies. Generally, I try and make sure that I appreciate you asking. I'll always have different answers. But generally, I try and make sure that the graphics more or less represent the vertical terrain. So that's about 10 feet. But then when you get over to here, it gets closer to like 15, 20. And then over closer to the edge of the cavern wall, as I'll pan up and over so the stream can see, it gets to be closer to like 10, 15 again.
Cool.
So coming around that corner, I'm going to go ahead and start revealing some of that terrain. So I imagine all of you are not using a light source of any kind at this time.
Correct.
When people make
No.
stealth rolls, I imagine that like indicates that they are extinguishing any lit objects that they are carrying, or otherwise conceals them. So for the time being, everyone is moving as best they can. There is a small dim bit of light in here just because of the aforementioned like shafts of sunlight coming down from up above. So even those of you without dark light are still capable of feeling your way along in this area. Now, as that continues to expand over to the east there, you see the cave is considerable in size as it opens up again after this choke point. The ones up above do not seem to notice you at this time, but now is when I will ask for that fresh stealth check renewed. So this is like really the point at which those sentries are either going to be able to maybe spot you or not. Of course, everyone has their pass without trace currently still going, so by all means, please make those stealth rolls and add +10. I'm gonna
We
make.
still have advantage.
Pardon?
We still have
You
advantage.
will not still have advantage due to the fact that you're not like in a secluded area behind things that are obscuring line of sight. In this case, you will be, actively kind of moving by them. So it will just be regular old +10, and whatever your normal bonus would be. So that
Would that include me?
that will include you, yes.
Okay.
Okay, 22 at the lowest. Having made some rolls for the sentries and knowing the passive perception of the ones that are engaged in the heated debate, you are all able to successfully slip by thanks to Jasir's pass without trace. That is going to move you into the next chamber. I'm going to go ahead and reveal that area real quick as you are able to see it. And you see that to the east there is a fairly large cavern with a couple more stalagmites and stalactites, some boulder and debris, as well as what you see now as you draw closer, something that makes your blood run cold, as it looks like laying over about 20 feet to your north, Zaris, is more of that telltale, like, black film on the floor. Likely that of another pudding spread itself out to try and surprise or otherwise catch predators. You would not have otherwise noticed it were you have not just been encountering it just the other day. So your passive perception is going to be high enough to see it. It does not seem to, at this time, notice you or be concerned with your presence, but you do understand that any wrong move at this time could trigger that pudding's awareness and bring it over towards you, and then, in addition to that, alert those lizard folk of your presence. Seeing you all gather there on the ledge, I'm going to pan the stream down a little bit, and I'm going to polygon reveal. Make sure Ash and Lupe, I see you hanging out in the back there, and that's totally fine, but just make sure your tokens reflect where you currently want your characters to be in real time. As I just, I need to know for sake of line of sight and whatnot on my characters' rolls. The cavern is going to open up and continue to slope down and to the east in this direction. But you now have a 12 foot ledge in front of you that you need to get down without making any noise, hopefully. Detlin, I see that 7 athletics. You are not going to be able to get to the bottom of that without there being some clatter. It is not loud enough to alert the lizard folk, but you can see the surface of the black pudding nearby begin to shimmer and move. It is almost ready to draw itself up, but it has not quite detected the presence of an additional, of an additional presence. So, Detlin, that's your 7, but you are on the low ground now. What is the rest of the party going to do?
I'm gonna take some time to pat everyone on the back and cast guidance on everyone and say, let's see if we can get down this ledge while we can.
I believe guidance only works. You can only have one instance of it going at a time.
Okay, so can we do like a little assembly line?
Yes, certainly. Yeah, because guidance is actually a concentration check. So yeah, you can only have one of it going.
All right, so I'll go down last and let everyone else go one at a time.
All right. Yeah, I was gonna say, Ash, you're more than welcome to use acrobatics because of your roguelike nature. So that is enough to get you down. I will need then either acrobatics or athletics. Or Zaris and Lupe, are you remaining on the above ground? I guess that's really my question.
Is there a way I can go across?
Go where? Oh, like squeeze through there?
There?
Yeah, there's room there, especially for one of your stature. And I'm gonna keep updating the vision because I see that Ash is pulling ahead as our companions. But notice that is where the pudding is now beginning to form.
Is there a way I can stealthily get across it? Or is that literally where all of it is?
That is not literally where all of it is, but at this point, getting that near to it is more or less. I'm going to need another stealth check as you get that close because this thing is feet away from you now as it's beginning to. I will recycle a pudding real quick. It is beginning to draw up and actually form into its mobile gelatinous mass, and that is going to. Oh man, it is going to be able to notice you, Lupe, and it is going to be hungry. Zaris, I did not see your okay, there it is. Acrobatics of 12. So at this point, as the rest of you get down, there is going to be a little bit more noise, but that pudding is going to form itself up, and it is going to be capable of more or less letting out kind of this burbling roar that is going to attract the attention of those nearby lizards. Lupe, go ahead and give me an initiative right now just against the pudding itself. The rest of the group at this point, because the pudding is not aware of you down there, you do not have to be involved in this initiative, but if you would like to act, then I'm going to need one from you.
Did he still have the +10 stealth on the 19?
Yes, he still did have the +10 stealth. The pudding rolled a natural 20.
Damn.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just what it was.
That's how it is. I'll turn to the party. Maybe these lizards can take care of it. Do we want to run?
Yes.
That's what I'm hoping.
All right, I'm gonna continue down this hallway then.
Okay. Lupe with a 16, Ash with a 4, Zaris with a 4. The pudding is going to come in just behind Lupe with a 14 total. And that is.
Do you still need initiative?
I'm just asking initiative for the people who are going to maybe be interacting with the pudding and not just fleeing directly down the hallway. Not that I'm casting shade. I'm just saying there's a difference between the two actions.
Jump! Jump! I'm going to try to catch him when he jumps.
Okay. So, and
Yeah.
then Ash, I saw you got that 4. Let me get you into the initiative tracker really quick. Then, it looks like Lupe, you will be going first. You do have a turn. You're ahead of this pudding, at least for now. What would you like to do?
Can I use this to possibly convince it to go towards the lizard folk?
So you are not necessarily able to get that to like influence its behavior in that way.
Jump.
Okay. Then I'm jumping.
I'm going to attempt to break his fall or catch him or something. He's a little guy, right?
He is. He's a little. He's a wee one. Okay.
I'd like to try to help with that too. If
Oh, whoop. Stream tracked up there a little bit. Acrobatics of. Well, so it's Lupe. What you're jumping? Go ahead and give me an acrobatics.
Yeah, I was asking which one it was, athletics or
Oh, sorry, I
acrobatics.
didn't quite catch you there. I was messing around with the
You're good.
background music. So yeah, that is an acrobatics or an athletics, given the situation. Those two skills really have almost 100% crossover in 5th edition. There's a couple exceptions to it, but even then, there's some class abilities and feats that will help you, kind of fill in those gaps. So let me get the music just a little bit more tense to reflect the severity of the situation, what with the troglodytes likely in the background. So with that 12, you're able to easily get down this ledge. You're going to lose a little bit of movement in the process, but you are going to get down and have about the... Your normal is 25, so you're still going to have about 15 feet of movement left. As you slide down.
I think I'll stay there for now and see what happens.
Okay. With that, the pudding is going to come over to the edge of the cliff, and it's going to start going down the cliff. It's not going to be able to attack you on that turn, Lupe, but it is going to be able to get, it is now basically pouring itself over the ledge at this time, attempting to kind of almost fall atop of you if its sticky substance wasn't actively clinging to the stone that it was on. And that's the pudding's turn. You are now being threatened by the pudding. Zaris, it is your turn after... Oh, yeah, no. It is, yeah, Zaris and then Ash after that.
Just roll.
Actually, no, I take that back. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. Ash has the higher dexterity. I got that wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Ash, you go first. Or before Zaris. What would you like to do?
Okay, so since we're in combat, I'm going to use my bonus action to dash and head down there to the stairs. And then I'm going to stop at the end of my dash and throw a firebolt at this pudding before I make my movement the rest of the way.
Okay, you got it. That'll be 30. I'm just measuring right now to get an idea of where you'll land up, so I can reveal the appropriate terrain. Oh, that betrayed me. All right, you see the hallway continues in front of you and then goes into another cave that looks like it will continue moving, but you do fear that if you run into a dead end now and those lizard folk begin pursuing you, you may have no other choice but to stand your ground and fight. Go ahead and make that attack roll for your firebolt in the meantime. Okay, that is going to be enough to hit that pudding. Alright, that is going to be a total of 12 damage as Lupe's proximity to it, while it does threaten Lupe, does enable your sneak attack as a rogue. So 12 damage to the thing. And that is going to... Well, that's your attack, your movement, and your bonus. So from there, Ash, unless you've got any witty remarks, it's going to pass over to Zaris.
Not today.
Alright.
Yeah? No? Okay. Then if I'm not being threatened by it, I'm going to move and dash away.
Okay, so that'll be your action and your movement to get down and around there. I see everyone else is moving in to, to that area, so I'm going to continue to reveal that. You see that the cavern looks like it jaunts up for a second as sort of naturally formed stairs in the cave floor begin to lead kind of forward, giving you hope that this isn't going to run out of room anytime soon, and you will be able to put some adequate distance between you and these troglodytes. Zaris, if that's your turn, we now go to Lupe Gildentoe. Lupe, that pudding is upon you. What would you like to do?
When I dash, how much movement does that add?
Dash, it gives you a full another movement action. But it takes your action to do it, unless you've got a class ability or spell that modifies it in some way. Like rogues, for example, can make a dash as a bonus action.
Okay, so that's just an action, and it gives me like what, 5 feet?
25 feet. Because your movement is 25. So
Run!
Okay.
And dash does give me more.
Yep.
For the 25. Okay.
Oh, and so you'll get another
25
25 feet
again.
that you can move. But if you are moving and then dashing, is that the plan?
Yes.
Okay, then it will get an attack of opportunity against you. And Lupe, it looks like it is going to manage to swipe at you as you withdraw, and that's going to do a total of only 7 damage. The pudding roll's pretty low, but I do need an opposed acrobatics or athletics to resist being otherwise perhaps caught by this pudding's sticky tendrils and pulled into its mass, and then drowned in pudding.
You don't want that.
Nobody.
You don't want that.
It's
No.
worse than it sounds, trust me. All right, 14. I'm going to roll for its opposed. Lupe, it rolls a 15 on the dice, and with its modifier, that is going to put you ahead of it, which means that you are not going to be effectively able to get away from this creature. You are going to be caught in it. However, doing that is only that is all triggered as a result of your attempt to move. So you actually haven't used any economy yet, other than like 5 feet of movement. So you could still use an action to try and pull yourself out of this thing. Give me another acrobatics check if that's what you're after.
Acrobatics or a dex save?
Acrobatics. That is not going to do it. And you are going to get pulled into the pudding, my friend. That is going to be, unfortunately, the end of your turn, as you need more than a bonus action. You have your bonus action left, but you are in the pudding. If you would like to cast a spell that takes only a bonus action, or do anything else that takes only a bonus action, you can, but it will require a check.
I'm assuming trying to grab a rock and trying to pull myself would not be a bonus action.
No, unfortunately, that was the acrobatics check you just attempted and failed. And
Then yeah, I have nothing for a bonus action that I can use.
all right, this pudding is going to go next, and because of the variance on that critical failure, I'm sorry to say, it is going to get a critical attack off on you because of the fact that you are being drawn into it. And Lupe, you are going to also need to give me a Constitution saving throw as this thing begins to attempt to try and poison you. Con save goes well for you. It looks like the critical damage on this thing is going to end up totaling in a little bit lower than the other ones this night, at a total of 17. But that is the pudding's turn, and now that it has engulfed Lupe, it is content and not to move. So that puts it over to Ash. Ash, Garahest, you are down here in this hallway with you and your companions, as everyone's been kind of exploring the escape route slowly but surely. What would you like to do? Your companion, who was supposed to be right behind you, is not.
So I look back, I notice he gets stuck, I say, guys, I'm going to go back and get him. So I'm going to head back up to the top of the stairs, and I'm going to throw another firebolt at this guy. And you don't have fire resistance, do you?
No, the halfling does not, unfortunately.
No.
Am I going to be able to hit this pudding without hitting the halfling?
You believe so, unless you get unlucky, in which case there is a possibility. But if you hit it will not. If you hit it, it will not hit the halfling. If you miss, there is a small chance that it will.
All right, you think me sneaking up there and everybody running away, me coming back will surprise him?
I would say, given this situation and the fact that Lupe is still technically like thrashing inside of the pudding, he is still kind of threatening it in a way. He is not dead yet, so that will effectively trigger your sneak attack ability.
All right, so not only sneak attack, but if I can actually surprise this ooze, any damage I can hit will be critical. So that's what I'm going to try to attempt right now.
With your assassinate. I see what you're getting at. Go ahead. Ooh, it might not matter, actually. Your assassinate is gonna maybe fall by the wayside, as it looks like you just criticaled anyway. So that will double your sneak attack and also the die of the firebolt itself, as you let off a storm of dice in addition to just a tidal wave of arcane fury, as the firebolt swells in size to not that of like an arrow, but instead like a javelin or a spear that you hurl through the air, and it lances into the pudding, managing it to perfectly miss your halfling, who's just gotten sucked into the like lower half of it, while the top half remains like perched and undulating over the cliffside. That is not going to be enough to kill it, but it is going to do a serious amount of damage, and it is also going to set the thing alight as it now begins to like just burn, and you see the entire thing as if the other ones like lit up like a bonfire. Lupe, the fire is going to affect you in the interior. You are going to take an extra 3 points of damage at this time, as the ooze's interior now begins to bubble and roil from the exterior heat that's cooking its membrane. All right, Ash, that was your...
I'm down.
Oh no. Lupe.
Exactly 3 HP is
No,
what I had.
Lupe. Okay, give me a death saving throw, please. And then Ash, that was just your movement and your attack, so you still have your bonus left if you'd like to do anything with it.
I'm going to dash back underneath and see if I can drag him out, even though he's on the verge of death.
Unfortunately, that the attack was your. Oh, I sorry. Yeah, right. Rogue. My bad. So you'll be able to dash over there, but you will not be able to pull him out yet. That will have to wait for another turn. And then Ash, from there, we go to Zaris. Zaris Lokudora, you are watching as this situation gets more and more complicated. What do you want to do here?
Yeah, I failed my perception check and did not hear or see what was going on, but then my companions start running back and yelling about people getting sucked into puddings, and that is, I know that all. So I am going to turn, run back, and let off Scorching Ray.
Okay. You got it. From there, go ahead and give me those 3 ray attacks as you try and hopefully lance this pudding without killing your companion who is currently trapped inside of it.
Hey, I'm there myself. Yeah.
All right. So those 2 17s and the 13 are all enough to hit it. Unfortunately, however, as each one makes contact with the pudding, they are... Okay, hold on. 10... 5... That is going to... The damage of it reflect a little bit onto Lupe, and Lupe, you are going to lose a death saving throw over the course of that exchange, but it is going to, because of the fact that you've been hit by this ooze, but that is going to be enough to kill that pudding as the fire damage stacks up, but with the just roaring blast of those fire rays crashing into the cavern wall and the pudding and causing it to explode. That is the one automatic death saving throw failure for Lupe, and then Ash, I need a dexterity saving throw as per the other ones. This flaming pudding is now popping, and you are going to risk being caught in a tidal wave of its toxic gunk. Oh, no, I was going to say, you just lost a death saving throw. You didn't have to make one, so that...
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, no. And that actually still wouldn't have killed you outright yet. So that 18 is going to be enough to half the damage, and then halved again from your tiefling heritage. It looks like you will only be taking 2 points of damage from that, Ash, as you get splashed with some of this vile, just gunk from the interior of this pudding. Because this is a fresh pudding, I will ask for a Constitution saving throw from you as well, now that you've... But that is very mild. And past that, the combat is over for the time being. Yeah, you are totally, I'm not going to say immune, but certainly unaffected by the vileness of this pudding. Lupe is now laying there, covered in pudding, and clinging to life and struggling, trying to bring themselves back from the edge. And you are going to be able to see in the distance now the lizard folk are all storming over to that stairway in order to try and investigate what's going on. The lot of them not interested in taking the short way down over the ledge, buying you some precious moments, but you have in this exchange alerted them to not your presence, because they didn't see any of you specifically. They just saw this pudding explode, basically, so they're coming to investigate pretty thoroughly, what with this not being the first instance of this happening recently. All of you are welcome to do whatever you like at this point outside of the initiative. Lupe, you you are dying. Everybody, what do you want to do about the fact that Lupe's maybe dying?
I'm gonna grab one of Lupe's arms and dash down towards the rest of the party and see if I can find. I hope we have a healer or something that can revive this guy. But grab his other arm. Let's get out of here.
You could possibly use that slab that I have.
Yeah,
Well, we need to do it quickly. We need to do it.
You've got that, Tim.
Oh,
Yeah. We'll drag him back, and
Yeah.
I'm there.
If
I can.
You're gonna slather him and salve?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where is he?
Yeah.
Doing so, you go ahead. Are you gonna use the rest of it, or what's the plan?
Yes.
Okay, using the rest of it, you will actually activate some of its more potent magical side effects. And so, Lupe, you will get 2d8 plus 4, and you will also now have advantage on your next check of any kind, be it skill or attack or that sort of thing. Not saving throw, to be noted. That is going to be 10 health to our downed bard, which is going to be enough to get Lupe up and functioning and back with the rest of the party. I imagine you're all going to continue getting as far away from the approaching lizard folk as you can, as I see Detlin has now moved down to the very edge of the shadow and is gathering his party before venturing forth. As the hallway reveals what is both a at once relief of a massive what looks to be downward shaft carved into the rock itself by both geological happenings and perhaps some amount of tool work, but that is so faint and so worn that it looks like it might just be a trick of the rock itself. However, you will find that this is the end of the road when it comes to the directions that you have in front of you. Only down now is the way that you can escape.
Okay, that's yeah.
What does the party do?
What the hell happened? Did I get swallowed?
yes.
Yes. Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
How did
get back. We gotta get out of here.
If we don't have rope, we can either jump down or tie a rope down. But if we don't have any rope, we might want to hide behind this rock and see if we can at least get some surprise on them if it turns to combat.
He's gonna look toward the bard. Do you have any rope?
I do not.
Any?
Did my
So there's
magnet?
no way to for this big hole right here.
That hole is, again, just the top half of like a cut-off pillar, basically.
Okay, but we're the dead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
but
thought
you
it was a
are at
hole.
a dead end. That...
I'm hiding behind that pillar in the corner.
Okay, noted.
Pillar, then by all means, I'm back here in the corner.
Yeah, I'm there.
How far down does it look like this black hole goes?
Looking down, it looks like the stone itself goes down for quite a ways. You, with your 60 feet of dark vision, are not capable of seeing the end of it. Though there is plenty of, as you look down, obvious foot and handholds as the what were at the distance kind of faint markings of tool and perhaps the working of the stone. Now as you get closer, look as if there's maybe overlap between ancient layers of brick and mortar that have been sandwiched between rock as you go down. And you even see at points there look like maybe small platforms where somebody might even be able to sit or stand. So while the descent certainly doesn't seem to have an end, it doesn't look to be the most tricky thing. However, were you to slip and fall without any, assurance right now, who knows how long that may be?
Can I cast a Sacred Flame just like down at the bottom to kind of see if I can see how far it goes?
Sure, certainly. Casting the Sacred Flame and illuminating what's down there, you see that the rock itself goes for about 60 to 70 feet, and then it opens up into a cavern that seems to be immense. And when I say immense, I mean the one that you just came from looks to be peanuts compared to this thing, as there is evidence of a substantial drop beneath that. But what you do see illuminated are also what are more evidence of like tooled or made structures in the form of collapsed brickwork and what look to be ruins of some kind spread out over the cavern floor, as well as more ravines or holes through the rock like this one on the floor of the cavern beneath.
Delton's actually just going to grunt at the rest of the group and go, "No rest for the wicked. Start climbing."
And I want to do another little, or at least everyone's kind of further away, so I'll do guidance on Detlin for his climb down, and then on myself when I go.
Okay. Detlin, with an 18, you are able to... guidance is plus
Guidance
is
is
1d4. Sorry about that. So that's going to be a 19. With a 19, you are able to adequately find routes and handholds going down without running into any problems. Oh, Jasir. That is going to be a critical failure as you attempt to go down. That is going to be a... Oof. You are going to slip and fall. I'm going to need a dexterity saving throw, or you are going to plummet. That is not going to be enough to catch yourself as you go to try and grab a hold of one of the ledges or the bricks. As you start to fall, you are going to end up plummeting down this hole. As you fall, it becomes long enough that you have yet one more chance to try and grab a hold of one of the walls on the side before you fall into the open air of the cavern below, and then continue until you splat on the ground. But I am going to make that a... instead of a dexterity, that will be a strength saving throw as you attempt to try and grab something and arrest the momentum of your armor and your pack and your falling body weight.
I assume I don't have time to cast guidance this time.
As you're falling, if you want to, there is like enough time actually.
I'll do it then.
But you're gonna have to give me a concentration check. That is not exactly the easiest of conditions in which to manifest spell casting.
Okay, so concentrate. What would happen first?
Concentration for the guidance, and then the strength saving throw.
And that's just a straight wisdom check?
The concentration is actually a constitution save. So that's going to be enough to get the guidance off, as you do manage
Wait, waste
to
my 20?
invoke the guidance of your goddess as you begin to plummet through the air, and you do not want things to end like this. Go ahead and give me that strength saving throw as you attempt to grab a hold of the... And the one on the D4 has been added. 16, that is, oh my god, that is what you needed. You are going to be able to grab a hold of your, like something, just a small handhold that you are now dangling off your feet in open air over at least an 80-foot drop into the ground below. And you are going to take, it looks like from just the damage to your arms and like the sockets is going to be 6 points of damage. And the thing that really starts concerning you is as you look around, you do not see any other like immediately great places to like move your hands over to or try and pull yourself up. And so unless you can successfully begin to navigate this situation, another mistake could send you, I mean, just straight down with no further chances to attempt to catch yourself. I'm going to cut from there to the rest of the party, because meanwhile, those lizard folk are pressing closer and closer. We look at Detlin, who has already made their way down some way. Lupe, Zaris, Ash, what are you doing in this time as the lizard folk draw closer and closer?
I am headed to the pit as I see the two of them to descend, and I see Jasir slip and lose its, and just Jasir run to the edge and look down, see what I see, and I just barely catch him as I see him hanging there. I'm gonna climb down as safely as I can.
All right, go ahead and give me an athletics or an acrobatics check as you attempt to work your way down. That is not going to go well. With that, you are going to be able to keep yourself from falling off, but you get maybe 5-6 feet down this hole before you start realizing that maybe you didn't know exactly how to do this the best way, as Detlin continues to just make solid progress, just like using their brute strength to grip at earth and stone to lower themselves. You are unsure where to place your feet and hands, and you find your descent slowed. During that time, Lupe, Ash, what are you doing?
I'd also like to light on something I'm carrying so that I've got light to see.
Okay.
I'm also going to begin to climb down that hole.
Okay, give me an athletics or an acrobatics as you attempt to go down. All right, managing to mirror the same general level of proficiency as Detlin, but in a different kind of much more graceful manner. Rather than relying upon your brute strength, you're able to kind of just hop from stone to stone as you go lower and lower, and soon you start catching up with the Dragonborn. Lupe, it is your turn at this point. I mean, it's kind of everybody's turn, but I'm just... you're the only one I haven't gotten a concrete direction out of. It looks like your party is going to continue to climb down and see if they can get to wherever it is that this is leading. What are you going to do?
Have the lizard folk advanced at all?
They, you are unsure of at this time exactly where they are. You can hear that they've drawn closer and are likely at this point within the same room that pudding was in, but whether or not they've made it into like the hallway that's just around the corner, you are unsure. You'd have to give me a perception check, but that alone would take some precious time. What do you do, Lupe?
That corner, I'm going to let people know kind of what the status that I left them at. And also, I'm going to help, if I can, people that are having challenges climbing down.
All right. You can, with the roll that you made is high enough. If you'd like to roll to aid Zaris, you can also do that, but I will need a second acrobatics check from you. Unfortunately, that is not going to be enough to aid Zaris, as it doesn't represent your like putting them in danger in any way. It just you are too focused on your own descent to be able to really offer the old wizard any amount of like substantial critique. Lupe, getting back to you, you're the only one who has yet to start climbing down. What do you want to do here?
That was supposed to listen out for them. For the lizard folk.
So with
Bad idea.
with that, you are going to unfortunately be so caught up in the moment trying to hear how close the lizard folk are, you are going to accidentally burn a little bit too much time. And during that, they are going to manage to advance and pull up around the corner above in a warband and like catch and not lock eyes with you thanks to the stairs up and the stairs down, but they are going to basically catch the glimmering of Zaris's light coming up from over the natural earthen stair there. Because that turn has now happened, the rest of you can kind of go again. I'm gonna start with Jasir, just because they're sort of in the most precarious position at the moment. Jasir, you are hanging by your hands right now over an abyss which threatens your very life. What do you want to do?
So I definitely want to look around and see if there's any like handholds or footholds.
All right, go ahead and give me a perception check. And it's a good time to have dark vision.
Have we climbed past him already?
No, he is hanging from the very bottom of this shaft. He fell and was only able to catch himself on the very lip of it before it opens up into the cave below. So he's like, his feet are hanging in open air. There's nothing for him to even put them on. He has to pull himself up by his hands to somewhere where he'll be able to even put his feet on the rock. He fell far past everybody. So with that 16, you are going to be able to locate what looks to be a handhold that will allow you to start moving upwards. So go ahead and give me the athletics or acrobatics to start trying to maneuver yourself. And we will see. Thanks to the perception, this isn't at disadvantage. Otherwise it would be. So you are just making it normally. Nicely done. It's a decent recovery. With the 20 athletics, you are going to manage to pull yourself up and climb enough to get yourself into it like a stable position. You're by no means out of the, the danger entirely, but now, on your turn, you don't need to make a check to not fall into the abyss. You can just sort of chill where you are for the moment. The rest of everybody else, I imagine you're going to continue to climb down, or are you... What's the plan here? I'll go next to Detlin, just because he was the first one down the hole. So Detlin, what do you want to do?
Look up and go, put that light out! And then just keep climbing down.
Okay, so give me your athletics, and then I'll go to Zaris, because Zaris was the next down after that, and then Ash, and then Lupe, just for the sake of... Alright, 23! Making very good time. Detlin, you are going to be able to continue climbing down. This is like a 60-foot shaft, so even with that, you are going to still be about 20 feet above Jasir's position. But you are getting closer and closer to where the Dragonborn is. From there, we go to Zaris. Zaris, what do you do?
The belt pouch that I've cast light on gives me a little bit of vision around me. I'm gonna see what I can. I just sort of went headlong down here. I need to actually look and see how to best get down to save Jasir. Can I find any
All right, go ahead and give me give me a
adequate
perception
holds.
check to see if you can locate a path that might take you down to where the cleric has managed to secure themselves for the time being. With that, you are going to be able to find some a suitable route down, and that is going to grant you advantage on this particular climb down if you continue.
Yes, definitely.
All right, go ahead and roll your acrobatics or athletics. You do have advantage, fortunately. But we will see. There's nothing about advantage to stop you from rolling. All right, so an 8 and a 14, effectively. So that 14 will see you able to move down, but just not at the same speed as the others. You are going to basically end your turn about 30 feet above Jassir's position and about 10 feet above Detlin's. Then we cut to Ash. Ash, you are now about 20 feet down, and so you are like about 10, 15 feet above Zaris, who is above Detlin, who is above Jassir. And with that 15 acrobatics, you're going to be able to manage to get down even with Detlin at this point. The two of you are going to more or less be on the same plane. You're not going to be in the same place, as you're going to be across the shaft from them, but you're going to be within about 5 feet vertically of them. And then, was there anything that you wanted to do before I cut over? I just want to handle what Lupe is doing at this time.
Oh, perfect. That's
right. Lupe, what are you doing?
Might as well go down.
All right. Go ahead and give me your athletics or acrobatics as you attempt to scurry down. Nicely done. So that will see you about 20 feet down, as it did your companions with similar checks. And as you drop over the ledge, that is going to see the rest of those lizard folk begin to finally storm up over the stair and into the room itself. Now, having seen everybody go down, Zaris, you did not say that you were putting away your light.
Oh no, that's get me down safely.
With that, they are going to see the light coming up from the shaft. They are going to be able to end their turn not at it, but near it, and certainly aware of the fact that something is happening. So at this point, we are going to do one more round of climbing, and then after that, they will be rolling initiative, and you will be rolling initiative, and they will likely be trying to storm you with javelins and stone hatchets from above. So all of you have one turn to try and make your best of this strategically before a very bad situation happens. I will start again now with top of the order Jassir, just because they're furthest down. Jassir, what would you like to do?
Okay. So, would I need to do a new perception check to see what's going on?
It depends on what your goals are. If you're just trying to move up or move down at this point, you would not need to make a perception check, but you are sort of faced with the riddle of the fact that this shaft cuts off, and then it's open air for about 80 feet down to the cavern floor, and there doesn't seem to be a wall or near enough in either direction, so you're not really sure what the next leap of this is, unless it's literally that. What would you like to do?
It's I wouldn't see any continuing way down.
That would be a perception check in order to try and find something like that.
Okay, then I'm gonna do that.
Go for it. You are not going to see anything that is immediately making itself available. You see ways to get down to the very, the lip, the edge of it, but past that, you are not able to like actively see a path forward that might allow you to get down and then like flip over that into some sort of relative position to climb down.
Okay. Not wanting to go up, I'm gonna just see if I can make my way down. I'm gonna take the time to. I'm gonna cast enhance ability. I'm gonna do the what's it called? I'm gonna do Bull's Strength,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna try to keep climbing down.
All right. So you'll have enough time to get the bull's strength done, but that's going to be basically it. You won't have enough time to also then continue climbing because of the guidance that you did on yourself a moment ago.
Okay.
So from there, we're going to pass it over to next in order, which is Detlin, and then it'll be Ash, and then it'll be Zaris. So, Detlin, what are you...
How deadly is the drop to the floor?
The 80-foot drop? It really depends. Basically, the rules that I am familiar with and will be honoring is that when you fall, you can make a dexterity saving throw or an acrobatics check, depending on which you feel more comfortable with. And you can try to mitigate the fall damage. And then I take a personal, it's a 1d6 for the first 10 feet, and then an additional d6 for every 10 feet after that. So in this case, it would be about 8d6s of damage. That could be something that you might be able to entirely mitigate with good luck and a fortunate roll. But if you do not, can you eat 8d6s?
I can eat 86 is a lot better than I eat an entire horde of spears. He's going to crawl down to the lip, buckle up Buttercup, and take the drop.
Okay. Detlin, go ahead and as you fall, you are entitled to an acrobatics check to try and mitigate the damage as you land and, roll into it to prevent your, shins from breaking in half. But
is this something that would be swappable with athletics to just like straight up He-Man drop?
Unfortunately, this is one of the few things that is not. You cannot you cannot swap this for athletics. Not bad. That will manage to mitigate a little bit of the damage.
Too bad we don't get a punk.
Go ahead and get these d6s rolling. That's going to be 12... 18 for... Okay, that's going to be a total of 26 damage as you land. All right, and then Detlin, also, you are now on a new map, which I also have ready, but before we cut over to that, I am going to go back to the rest of the party as you watch Detlin just literally fall into darkness. What with the fact that your dark vision only extends so far, the Dragonborn merely kind of looks at the rest of you and nods and then just lets go of their perch from the bottom of the shaft that you're climbing down. You hear a thud and a groan from beneath, but you did not hear the telltale splatter or like screams of pain or like cracking of a spinal column that might accompany a death. So he might have made it. Then moving up from Detlin, as you are going to, the time it takes to make the fall is going to unfortunately absorb the rest of your turn. And that is going to put us at Ash, who was next up in line. Ash, what are you doing?
So as I listen for him to fall, I count in the seconds, and then I hear that he seems to be still alive, and but damaged. This is what I'm going to do. I am going to climb as far as I can,
Okay.
and then I'm going to rage and jump.
Okay. I see you. Um,
Have that bludgeoning damage.
yeah, no, it has physical damage. So that actually is ingenious. I hadn't even considered that as an option. With that 18 acrobatics and the rage in tow, I'm gonna roll to see how much damage you take. And hold on. It's going to be a little higher than Detlin's, but with your physical resistance, likely far less, actually. So, okay, so this is going to come to 29, but then cut that in half. You'll be looking at, well, I round up, so it'll be 15.
14.
And you're gonna land with a thud next to the Dragonborn. After that, we move next up the cliff to Zarus. Yes, it was Zarus. What would you like to do?
How far up am I?
Right now, you are basically halfway down the shaft. So there's another 30 feet to go before the lip, which is where the other two had jumped off of. If you were to jump now, you'd be looking at, about 11 d6s.
Okay. Is it a free action, not a bonus action? I can just like drop my pouch with the belt pouch with light on it.
Yes.
That it's not a bonus action.
No, it is a free action. Is what I was. Sorry, that was.
Okay. It's a very important distinction for me
absolutely.
right now.
I understand. Everyone is well, with the exception of Detlin and Ash right now. Some lives are on the line.
Yes. Important distinction because I am going to just let go.
As
That bag hits the ground. I see where it is.
Yes.
And with my bonus action that I still have, when I'm inches from the ground, I cast Misty Step and teleport to 30 feet above the ground. And I appear in that spot. And 30 feet.
Okay. Sorry, what's the... I'm just checking the range on Misty Step real quick.
Range itself.
Okay. So, with that, you will... you teleport up to 30 feet to... Okay, so... You're going to teleport... So you said you were trying to teleport just 30 feet above the ground?
Well, actually, I guess I don't need to do the. I'm trying to just fall by teleporting
with the Misty Step
to a different
I'm gonna
location.
need a concentration check
Yeah.
in order to try and execute that.
Okay.
As you will be
Good
falling
thing I
when
took
this
Resilient,
happens,
I hope.
because in order to get the timing with the Misty Step right, you are going to basically be jumping before you execute the spell. So if you don't get this, then you're just not going to be able to nail the... So give me a Constitution saving throw.
Actually, I guess it only has to be 30 feet. Can I just teleport to like a couple feet off the ground
So the thing is
and not take 30 feet of falling damage?
You teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space, which means that's only its range. You're currently about 110 feet above the ground.
Right.
So
I'm thinking that before I hit, I can just teleport to something that's not 110 feet up. Something that's only like...
So that's the thing, is in order to nail this, you've got to... You've got to be able to pull it off mid-air in order to not. Do you see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So,
and I'm just realizing now too, there's no need for me to choose a point 30 feet.
No. You could just teleport to the ground. You just need to do it from 30 feet away is the problem. And so if you mess this up, you don't have enough time to try and do it again. So it's very much so like pulling your parachute at the very bottom. You're base jumping magically right now.
Yeah.
Go ahead and give me that concentration check.
Magical base jumping.
If this parachute does not open, you are gonna splat. All right, that is enough. Given the adverse situation, that is going to be enough to overcome the DC, which I was not inconsequential. That is going to see Zaris with the ability to 30 feet above the ground cast Misty Step, which will arrest the momentum of your fall and cause you to rematerialize out of sort of fog and thin air next to Detlin and Ash, having taken no damage and sort of just lightly kind of setting your feet down onto the top of the ground. Then finally we go up to Lupe. Lupe, you are the last one. What are you going to do?
Fancy.
Hey guys. I feel like a fool. Look at this.
What are you going to do?
A rope? Oh.
Yeah, and I've had how many natural ones?
If he jumps, I'm going to try to break his fall.
Okay.
I'll try to climb down best as I can.
And then jump. In which case, that'll be 2 consecutive acrobatics checks. The first one will be to see how far you can climb down, and then the second one will be to see like how well you're able to land. And then if somebody else wants to roll an athletics check or an acrobatics to try and catch Lupe, I will let you try and give him advantage on that second acrobatics. So that first acrobatics is going to see you another like 20 feet down, so you'll have another 10 feet to go when you jump, so it'll be a total of a 90-foot fall. Go ahead. Because of those rolls to aid, you'll be able to make this second check with advantage. So go ahead and make an acrobatics with advantage and see if you do or don't like splat into the ground.
Would I be able to climb down more, considering I have 10 health?
You could climb down more, but that will only take 10 feet off of the fall. And it would, unfortunately, like the acrobatics check that you made is sort of the extent of the time that you have in your turn, so it would take yet another go.
Catch me!
It's do or die time.
It is indeed.
Oh yeah, I had advantage too, huh?
Yeah, you've got advantage. And you never know when you might crit. So, alright, with a 21, that is not bad, as I am going to be able to take off a couple of the damage dice for that, but it is not going to be the whole spiel. So, you are going to land, and your companions are going to be able to break your fall, but it is going to do more damage than you have health. So when you hit the ground, you are going to have to make a death saving throw, as you are going to pass the unconscious. All right, that is a success. So you've actually yet to fail any of your death saving throws. Your companion Lupe hits the ground as you manage to catch him, but you can't stop all of his momentum, and his head slams into the armor on your chest, and you see kind of like brains himself, and like a wound starts bleeding from the side just above his ear. One moment, I'm going to turn the music back down away from where we're currently at, because we are no longer in combat. We are instead in the cavern below. And I will also switch the map over to reflect the new location. As we join our players now in the center of a fairly large map. If you're looking for the location, you'll find it in the center, but I'm about to just snap everybody there. 1 second. That should effectively center anybody who's looking for where they were. And now, because of your light spell having hit the ground, I'm going to expand the view one more time for a slightly more dramatic reveal as the cavern continues to open up around you, but more notably in front of you, you see that there are steps leading up into what is some sort of naturally rising feature of both the cave ground, but as well also the front of some sort of structure of some kind. Though you do not think, judging by the way that it is sort of, trying to get the reveal tool to work here for me, like loosely fortified, and the way that it's kind of half set into the actual rock itself, that likely what sits before you is not the dungeon that you seek, but yet further still to the south, due to your light spell, Zaris, you are all going to be able to kind of see the faint, like, far end of this cavern, because the ground continues to rise in front of you. And that is going to mean that... One moment as I get the reveal tool. You are all going to see hundreds of feet away across yet another treacherous drop down more uncertain chasm and up a flight of stairs carved from stone itself. There is the ominous looking doors of a massive structure set into the stone itself of this cavern. And though you are not 100% certain, you cannot shake the feeling in your gut that there could be anything so massive and so large, this deep underneath the rock and stone of Hope's Rise, that was anything else but the very objective that had sent you and the rest of the now fallen members of your guild here to Hope's Rise in order to accomplish this task. Though it seems every bit as ominous and daunting now at this distance across yet more physical obstacles, and the doors themselves seem to be larger than a single person could move alone, and are made of stone and steel, and are of a construction that reminds you of the kinds of things you would see in the like Gothic and Baroque architecture of ancient Nemothera. There is an expanse to this cavern as well, as it does not simply just move to the south, and you can see around you that there are many other potential areas to explore. As to the west, it looks like some structures rise out of the shadows into what are like remnants or ruins. And then behind you, yet still, also you see something in faint light that attracts your attention. There seems to be some sort of statue, though now decayed, and a... sorry, I'm just zooming out so the stream can see, hopefully. I'll have to zoom in, actually. A statue, now decayed and crumbling. The features are obscured, and you cannot tell to what great hero or goddess it might have originally been. And in front of it, the stone platform over which it is currently holding both of its outspread arms seems to also have been equally ravaged by the passage of time and the falling debris from above in the various movements of tectonic rock. But here you are, At last, the goal is within sight, though you fear that there are likely still many treacherous evils and dangers lurking out ahead of you in the darkness, yet to make themselves known, as a chill goes down your spine, and there seems to be an almost kind of ill wind in this cavern, sweeping about your feet and tugging at your cloaks. Party, what would you like to do at this time? I'll give you just a moment to react, but we are going to be transitioning into the giveaway section of this momentarily.
I'd love to be down there already, but
look around to make sure we have relative safety, and then take a long rest.
Okay. Sorry, the Ash votes for relative safety. What was everyone else?
I said I'd love to be down there already, but I'm still standing in the like halfway down the cavern. Yeah.
Oh, Jasir, yeah, you haven't. I thought you jumped. You did not jump.
No,
Yep, Jasir.
I was farther down than everyone else. But I don't know how
Right.
far.
Yeah, we hadn't got to that. So you are
Down
actually
there.
above. So you still, this is all relevant to you because you can see your companions beneath you thanks to Zarus' light. But you're going to instead actually have to endure a round of the lizard folk
Javelins?
up above. Hold on. Most of them are not going to
Just
be
don't
able to
fall.
find you. As you are further down at the bottom of that hole, then their dark vision readily extends, and what with the faint light at the end of it, you are kind of in this weird mid-grade. You are going to take a couple of attacks, though. It looks like 2 of them are going to manage to break your AC out of the few attacks that do come your way, and you're going to take a total of 7 damage.
All right.
Their weapons are crude and made out of sharpened stone. Were it not for their number, these lizards would likely not pose a threat. But, Jasir, what are you going to do?
All right. So I'm gonna tap myself with guidance and start the climb down.
Okay, you're going to try and just, beast it over the, and do the inverted climb?
Yeah, and I'm gonna yell down, "Get ready to catch the Dragonborn!"
All right. Go ahead and give me an not an acrobatics. That was Ash's roll. Go ahead and give me an athletics, Jasir, with your.
I am at advantage.
Mm-hmm. All right, that is going to be enough to get you part of the way as you begin to climb down, and you will actually be able to sort of maneuver yourself to the point that you're I'm trying to think if this is the right way, not so perpendicular from the floor, from the wall that you're hanging on, but you're gonna need to give me I'm gonna ask for a strength saving throw to continue this, as at this point you're you've got a feat in front of you. All right, that strength saving throw, thanks to your enhanced ability, is going to be enough as the very literal strength of your goddess begins to flow into your hands and guide you over the rock. Give me one more athletics check, and we will maybe see you safely down to the party. And indeed we will, with a critical. You are going to be able to scale the... Sorry. Wrong.
Then he sticks the landing.
And he sticks the landing. You are going to be able to scale down the concave of the back of the cave wall. I'm going to reveal an area to you that you would have been able to see now in your descent. Jasir, you can place yourself anywhere you would like along the back wall, thanks to that natural 20. As you are not forced to otherwise, beat a hurried retreat and just pick the most convenient route, you can take your time and sort of pick where you'd like to end up.
Sorry, where's the... It's a huge area. Where can I go?
Along the back wall. If you go north...
Oh, okay. Like here.
Oh no, further. I mean, because that is directly underneath the actual like the cave ceiling itself. So you would have had to have climbed down. I mean, over the ceiling and then down the wall. So you would be back here, my friend, somewhere like in this area or this area, this kind of thing.
Sorry, I accidentally flung myself.
You're fine.
It's like panning and like when I'm trying to scroll up, it's panning down.
Oh yeah, that can happen sometimes. Make sure that are you using the hand tool to pan?
I'm on select move right now. It's just
got
panning.
it. But
Could you move me like?
where did you? Oh yeah, I see where you ended up.
I want to be just like. Hold on, let me see if I can.
Hold on, I'm gonna move your token and just recenter you real quick. That should get you back over there.
Can I be like there?
Yeah, that works.
Cool.
That
And then
is, for your knowledge, actually an overhang, as the structure that you're seeing, Jassir, right there, north of you, actually is the second story of what is now a destroyed building, and it is only still like hanging out because the walls next to you are supporting it from beneath, and the mortar has yet to give way in the stonework. So this is actually kind of like a nice little semi-enclosed area in here. You see that there is a lot of debris and what look to be some cobwebs and like thick dust, but other than that, it's fairly concealed and out of the way.
I'll like wave my arms and like see if the party wants to come over here.
So
Sounds like
I'm
relative
still
safety to me.
Down, so everybody's just gonna leave.
Yep,
The
they're just
halfling-
leaving the halfling's dead. You know, man, it happens.
Oh,
Carry him over to
Medicine check.
healer.
Somebody got it.
if you drag him over, I can.
Unfortunately, Jassir, your descent would have taken some time, and his medical needs are much more urgent than that.
Okay, cool. So I'm not available.
Can anyone else heal?
Not without a
Wait.
potion or a medicine check. Not like that.
Anyone with something magical before I do a medicine check?
I have a poison kit.
Yeah, all right.
No.
So while Detlin is attempting his
Could you
medicine
use
check,
that to aid me?
sorry, not Ash, but Lupe, I'm gonna need another death saving throw. That is not gonna be enough to aid, unfortunately, Ash. And we'll see. All right, that's 2 successes after the drop, actually. So one more, and Lupe might be able to just like restore themselves to consciousness. There's one more companion to attempt a medicine check. Zaris,
I will go for that. Yeah.
go for it.
Someone want to aid, or is that
I'd
not
fail.
possible?
At this
Third
point,
time
both
over.
of them have
Or-
attempted to and failed. And so have you. Lupe, you're on your own. Go ahead and give me... basically, you're just going to make death saving throws until you die or you're conscious at this point. It's in fate's hands. Okay, that's 3 successes, though, which works in your favor. So, Lupe,
we
you
go.
are going to be at 0 hit points, just barely restoring yourself to life as you kind of open your eyes and look around, and you can hear Jassir from across the cavern call out, "Over here! What are you waiting for?"
Oh, good.
Where the hell am I?
Come on, walk it off.
And with
I'm
that,
gonna use healing word on me.
go ahead. but I cannot think of a possibly better place to tie it off for the evening, as we have just so many potential deaths tonight that you have all managed to avoid through a series of good rolls and smart decision making. But there were some narrow ones. Jasir, had you not made that, had you not gotten the concentration check to get that guidance, to get that 1 point to add to that 15, you would be a mess on the cobblestone right now. And there would be not a lot to do about it. But congratulations. I am so happy for all of you. You've managed to now make it to the actual point that the finish line of this next quest is in your sight. I'm sure you all have suspicions about the fact that it won't be simply as easy as walking up and knocking on the door, but those are all things that you can speculate on in the meantime, and I will actually now get to the point that we award a precious stone for the evening. Thank you everybody in the chat for hanging out and watching us tonight as we continue to make it further and further into this adventure. It looks like we have a situation where every one of these current players has either won a stone or gotten one through the patron giveaways that we do. So I can't simply give it out based on who hasn't. So it's up to the Twitch chat who they think. Players, you're also welcome to vote amongst yourselves if you'd like to nominate yourself or anyone else amongst your party. And then of those proposed, depending on the traction, I'll make my choice. But I kind of have a favorite in my mind right now for the evening, but we'll see.
I got to nominate Jastir for that. Just manhandle the rocks.
Redemption arc from the critical failure to the critical success.
Sure. Jasir has been nominated. I definitely think that is worth the nomination. I will also say that there were a number of fairly interesting critical failures over the course of the night. And also there was I was just going back through the dice log. Really, the one that ended up revealing Lupe to the ooze. What was it? It was not... Oh, no, he rolled a 20, actually. That's what happened.
Yeah.
I can't give a stone to the ooze. All right. We've got a couple nominations for Jasir, and without wanting to drag this out, I think that's fitting. So, Jasir, you will have the choice of either one of these precious stones, but I am also going to let you know, of course, for the people who are watching, that the one to the left is made out of euperlite and is thus a composite of a fluorescent mineral that glows under shortwave blacklight. So, as you can see in the demonstrated picture there, this thing is going to light up in the proper conditions like any rock from your favorite tabletop role-playing fantasy game. Jasir, which would you prefer? The lapis dog tag, or honestly it looks like an art eraser because it's got kind of a slope to it, so I don't know what to call that bead shape, but or the eraser?
I think I'll have to go with the Eupolite.
Okay, Euperlite it is. I will make sure to get that into the mail as soon as possible. Thank you very much for attending this evening and winning this stone, as well as everybody else out there. A quick reminder to the patrons who might be watching, after this, I am going to be taking a quick 5-10 minute break, but then I'll be joining everyone in the public, well, not the public Discord, but the patron Discord voice channel at the table side to do an hour-long just kind of meet and greet, answer questions, offer commentary over the course of the week, that sort of thing. Thank you all for tuning in, and I hope you are just as excited for the potential of next session as I am, as our adventurers get even closer now to the goal in front of them. Thank you all so much, and of course, before you go, there's only one question you need to ask yourselves. So, you think you can quest? And here we reach the end of our tale. For now, join us again next time as the Guild of Mazes presents So You Think You Can Quest.
Yeah, I got 20 reasons right here. I don't need up to be no edison. I'm holding 20s. I'm holding 20s. Had a dragon leash, try to break my stride. So I chose to war axe right between his eyes. Been gaining on the dragon's ass since 2 days past. He terrorized the town, brought him to the ground. But I've been moving quick and fight that son of a bitch now. Cause every day I'm hustling. Just one perception check brings every trap that says